Chapter 29:10. Killing one person in 2 hours. I hope your intuition is still sharp. Now, spit it out. Kill. Killing intent appeared in Lin Ling's eyes. When he was famous in Qingzhou, all the feudal lords gave him face and often went to his Yulin market to flatter him. However, there were too many hypocrites. Many people even wanted to secretly kill him. And now, he could use this opportunity to see who wanted to kill him. After all, Lin Ling might not be afraid if he kept ingrates by his side, but it would not be good if he implicated Yu and the others one day. You'd better follow us obediently. All the strong cultivators are waiting for you. If you run away, the people of the imperial court will die. The 4-9 said again, causing Lin Ling's eyes to turn even colder. These people had actually captured the people of the imperial court. The people of the imperial court were obviously implicated by him. Lead the way. Yes. Lin Ling took the lead. Senior 4-9, in my opinion, we should capture him and cripple his cultivation to avoid unnecessary trouble. Yes. One of them looked at Lin Ling coldly and said. This person was afraid that Lin Ling would run away, so he actually made such a suggestion. Yes, safety first. Yes. The 4-9 immediately nodded. Looking at Lin Ling's back, he said, Lin Ling, you and I can be considered friends. Why don't you cripple your own cultivation and follow us so that we can make a great contribution? Yes. When he said this, it was as if it was a matter of course. Trash. Yes. Lin Ling's expression turned cold. He ignored him and continued to walk forward. Bah, you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Yes. The people beside the 4-9 were furious and wanted to attack. However, at this moment, Lin Ling finally stopped and looked over coldly. That one glance caused all of them to stop what they were doing. A cold chill rose from their hearts. Although Lin Ling was now crippled, the name of Lin Ling's destruction of the country still remained in their hearts. A bunch of trash. Yes. Seeing that they didn't dare to move, Lin Ling continued forward. The expressions of the 4-9 and the others were extremely ugly, but they could not do anything. They could only follow Lin Ling. As long as Lin Ling did not try to escape, they would let Lin Ling do whatever he wanted. This way. Of course, the 4-9 and the others were still astonished by Lin Ling's calmness along the way. In fact, Lin Ling gave them the feeling that he wasn't going to throw his life away. Instead, he was going to kill people. It must be an illusion. He's only at the World King realm, he can't cause any great waves. The 4-9 and the others all secretly comforted themselves. As for the third layer right now, large amounts of experts were gathered there. There were many exceptional talents and old monsters from 10,000 realms. One of them sat down in an imposing manner. Below him was a chair condensed from golden sand. Everyone looked at him with eyes full of reverence. My nephew Luo Sha, for Lin Ling, you actually came back from the 4th floor. You are truly courageous. An old man with white hair and a ruddy complexion smiled at the young man. The 99 High Prince has ordered me to bring back Lin Ling's Son of Heaven mandate. Luo Sha indifferently said, causing everyone to suck in a breath of cold air. They never thought that the person behind Imperial Censor Dragon Court would also move against Lin Ling. The 99 High Prince was in truth not young. He wasn't the 99th son of the Blue Emperor, but because he was arrogant and overbearing and had repeatedly committed treacherous acts, the Blue Emperor had demoted him to the 99 High Prince. And now that the Blue Emperor had been demoted, the ambitious 99 High Prince had finally revealed his fangs. Of course, if you and the others have helped the 99 High Prince, the High Prince will also reward you. Luo Sha said. He knew that there were all sorts of powerhouses here. There were blue flame soldiers as well as people from the left minister's palace. Thus, he had to appease these people. Otherwise, if these people were to notify the two overlords of the left minister's palace, those two overlords would also send powerhouses to seize the Son of Heaven mandate. The High Prince is wise. The various vassals began to laugh. In their respective overlords, their status wasn't high and they weren't considered trusted subordinates. Thus, they placed great importance on treasures and didn't have a sense of belonging to the overlords. Where's Lin Ling? Luo Xiaofan looked at the group of people in the distance. Those people were from the imperial court. We don't know. Yes. The people from the imperial court were still stubborn. They gritted their teeth and shook their heads. Time's up. Kill. Kill one person in 2 hours. If Lin Ling still doesn't appear after 6 hours, kill 100 people. Luo Xiaofan waved his hand coldly. This was the best opportunity to kill Lin Ling. He wouldn't miss it. Moreover, he had heard about what happened to the Sun Bone and Realgar. He was terrified. He didn't want to be a stone statue for the rest of his life, living a life worse than death. Among the people from the imperial court, you seem to be the one who protects Lin Ling the most. Little girl, I'll start with you. Yes. A skinny man walked out. He looked like he could be blown away by a gust of wind, but his eyes were filled with lust. The person he was staring at was Lin Ping. I'm called Ruthless Destroying Flowers. I specialize in devouring the primordial een of beautiful women. Before you die, it will be very painful. Yes. The man smiled. His mouth was filled with yellow teeth. It was extremely disgusting. Lin Ping saw this and her body trembled. She knew that the ugly man wanted to destroy her. Luo Xiaofan, you've broken the rules. The 4 magnates are not allowed to fight in the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Roar. The people from the imperial court roared. Do you really think that the 4 magnates won't fight? That's because the treasures haven't appeared yet. Once the treasures appear, the magnates on the 4th floor will make their move. Moreover, you're on the 3rd floor. Why would the magnates of the imperial court care about you? Taking a step back, we can say that you're courting death. You stole our treasures and were killed by us. I believe that with the 3 magnates working together, the 3rd prince won't dare to pursue the matter. In the end, he can only sacrifice you. Roar. Luo Xiaofan suddenly laughed and looked at the people from the imperial court mockingly. You, despicable. The people from the imperial court cursed. Don't be hasty. You'll all die later. Let's start with this little girl. The skinny man took off his shirt, revealing his bony upper body. Ping. Seeing this, the people from the imperial court shouted. However, their bodies were bound by the realm essence chains. They couldn't help even if they wanted to. As for Lin Ping, she gritted her teeth. In the imperial court, their status was the lowest. However, they were unwilling and wanted to become stronger. Who knew that they would end up in such a situation? She was unwilling. Tears welled up in her eyes. She came from a huge realm in the Western world. She was the 3rd princess of that realm. She thought that she could achieve great things in Qing province. However, she found that she, who was looked up to in the realm, was actually just an ant in Qing province. When she was still in the realm, the young geniuses nearby all came to ask for her hand in marriage. However, she was arrogant and rejected all of them. Today, she was going to marry that ugly man. I once said that no man in this universe will ever be able to marry me. However, when I saw him that day, I finally knew that if I were to marry in the future, my husband would have to be like him, Lin Ling of the imperial court. Lin Ping, gritted her teeth. Lin Ling is young. No wonder the beauties like him. Unfortunately, you can only benefit an ugly uncle like me. Don't worry, I'll treat you well. Chapter 29:11. Only one person gave up on killing Lin Ling. Rumble, rumble, rumble. But at this time, the sound of a tsunami rang out. In the distance, the sound waves rumbled, turning into a terrifying fist that shot towards the yellow-toothed man. The yellow-toothed man's pupils constricted. Sound wave attack? These words floated through his mind. Then, he was shaken to death by the sound waves. Who? Everyone was shocked. Relying on sound waves to kill an opponent? Could this be a sound wave talent? No one knew that the one who attacked wasn't a sound wave talent, but had relied on his powerful mortal body to break through the skies and create a sonic boom. I, Imperial Court Lin Ling, have arrived. At the same time, a roar sounded out in the distance, causing the waters of the water element land to soar into the skies and rain to fall down. Amidst the heavy rain, a handsome young man strode over with large strides. Lin Ling has arrived. Seeing this youth that shocked the world as soon as he appeared, everyone felt as if they were in a dream. There was an illusion that Lin Ling was still as strong as before. Even Razor Sand frowned, a bit panicked. But after he used his heavenly vision ability and discovered that Lin Ling was only at the World King realm, he finally relaxed. It turned out that Lin Ling had been deliberately mystifying himself. Many old monsters also checked Lin Ling's cultivation and were relieved. However, Lin Ling, who was walking over from afar, still shocked them. This was because Lin Ling was indifferent as the clouds in the horizon. It was as if he didn't come here to die, but to kill them. Lin Ling, I will ask you 2 questions. Do you dare to answer me? Yes. Razor Sand stood up. A billowing sandstorm appeared around him, as if the Sand King had descended. First, do you still have the Son of Heaven's fate on you? Yes. Second, are you really only at the World King realm? Yes. His voice floated over, causing Lin Ling's lips to curve in a sneer. Razor Sand had been avoiding him this entire time, and now he had finally appeared. It seemed that hiding his cultivation was indeed beneficial, otherwise it would have taken him a great deal of effort to find Razor Sand. Your Excellency Lin Ling, leave quickly. Don't pay attention to us. At this moment, Lin Ping shouted excitedly. Your Excellency Lin Ling, the Emperor's mandate was given to you by the third prince. Don't give it to them. We're at the bottom of the hierarchy, so it's no big deal if we die. However, you can't die. You're the man who can become Emperor Qing. Many voices spread out from the imperial dynasty. This stunned Lin Ling. Indeed, these people were at the bottom of the imperial dynasty, but he didn't expect them to be so loyal. Even if they gave up their lives, they still wanted him to leave. Lin Ling couldn't help but laugh. He was sure that these people definitely didn't betray him. They would rather die than submit. Therefore, it was even more impossible for Lin Ling to leave. Luo Xiaofan, the fate of the Son of Heaven is in my hands, and I am indeed at the World King realm right now. Of course, that might not be the case in the future. Lin Ling lightly said. Huh, you have no future. Luo Xiaofan couldn't help but laugh. Poor Lin Ling. Did he think that he still had a future? He didn't know that the future that Lin Ling spoke of wasn't far away. Perhaps it would happen in the next moment. At that time, if Lin Ling used his first Dantian, he wouldn't be at the World King realm anymore. What treasures do you have on you? Hand them all over. Since you're going to die anyway, why don't you fulfill everyone's wish? I promise you that if you hand over everything, I'll let everyone in the imperial dynasty go. Luo Xiaofan said. I have a lot of treasures on me, but there are so many of you. How are we going to split them? Lin Ling suddenly laughed. As soon as his words fell, the experts around Luo Xiaofan also started arguing. Lin Ling was able to become one of the 9 heavens of Qing province, so he definitely had a lot of treasures. But who would take the bigger share? Our left minister's residence wants 80%. Bullshit, Lin Ling was brought back by the 4 Nines. The 4 Nines are now part of the imperial dynasty. We should take 80%. We were the first to know that Lin Ling's cultivation had been crippled. We first-generation talents want 90%. The remaining 10% will be divided among you. No one looked at Lin Ling. Instead, they were discussing the price. It was as if Lin Ling was already meat on the chopping block. Even some people who knew Lin Ling joined in. This caused the faces of the imperial dynasty to turn gloomy. Everyone kicked a man who was down. The world was so cruel. The world of the strong was so heartless. They suddenly sympathized with Lin Ling and looked at Lin Ling. However, Lin Ling was expressionless. He quietly waited for everyone to discuss. Lin Ling, you're quite tactful. But later, you better not resist and be killed by Lord Luo Xiaofan. I promise you that I'll protect your family for you. Beside Lin Ling, a few people from the 4 Nines also spoke. They often went to the Yulin market, so they naturally knew about Yu and the others. However, Lin Ling knew that the 4 Nines were shameless people. They definitely wouldn't let Yu and the others go. So, these people would definitely die. Thank you, but I still have to say that your intuition is really sharp. Lin Ling smiled. His smile was full of sarcasm. He didn't kill these people for the time being. He would let them wait until the end of the world. Hee, of course. With my sharp intuition, many people in Qingzhou will give me face. Unfortunately, I had a good relationship with you, Lin Ling, but you're too disappointing. How can you die? You made me invest in you for nothing. The 4 Nines still didn't understand the meaning of Lin Ling's words. He smiled happily. Have you finished discussing? At this time, Lin Ling finally interrupted everyone's discussion, causing everyone to look at him. I'm very curious. Many of you know me. Even if you don't have a good relationship with me, you still know me. Do you want me to die so badly? Also, the Luo Xiaofan is one of the 9 great heavens of Qingzhou. You're afraid of him, but don't you fear me, Lin Ling? Lin Ling said again. Isn't that nonsense? Everyone was stunned for a moment, then they all started to laugh. Lin Ling still thought that he was one of the 9 great heavens of Qingzhou? What a fool's dream. As for why they wanted Lin Ling to die, they curried favor with Lin Ling because they were afraid of Lin Ling's strength. It didn't mean that they treated Lin Ling as a true friend. Especially some old monsters, they didn't have any friends in their lives. They only cared about benefits. Shut up and interrupt our discussion. You'll get it later. Some impatient people even reprimanded Lin Ling. All right, I won't interrupt you. However, before that, I'll still give you a chance. It's also your last chance. Those who don't want me, Lin Ling, to die, step out now. I, Lin Ling, won't kill the innocent. Lin Ling said again. Chance? Shouldn't we be the ones saying this to you? Lin Ling, don't try to drive a wedge between us. In this world, the strong are respected. If you don't have the strength, then shut up. Mocking laughter rang out one after another. Lin Ling, you and I know each other. Today, I can't help you, but I won't harm you either. Chapter 29:12. A Violent Monster. The Holy King's sons, Sheng Xiaobao and Sheng Taibao, were both killed by Lin Ling. Logically speaking, he should be the one who wanted to kill Lin Ling the most. But now, he gave up on killing Lin Ling. No one could figure out what he was thinking. Trash. All the feudal lords cursed. However, they did not object. After the Holy King left, there would be one less person to share the treasures on Lin Ling. As for the Holy King, he looked at Lin Ling with a complicated expression. He gave up because he owed Lin Ling a favor. In the past, Lin Ling had the strength to destroy the Holy King's mansion. However, Lin Ling had promised the Holy King that they would mind their own business. After that, Lin Ling did not care about the Holy King's mansion anymore. Therefore, the Holy King did not want to break his promise. Only one out of thousands of people doesn't want me, Lin Ling, to die. It seems that it's not good to have too many friends because they are all dogs. Seeing this, Lin Ling laughed arrogantly and began to walk forward step by step. Everyone sneered because they knew that there would be a good show to watch. Lin Ling, oh Lin Ling, you should have known that this day would come when you destroyed my commandery. Before I die, I want to ask you what you have to say. Luo Xiaofan looked down at Lin Ling with an excited smile on his face. Luo Xiaofan was furious when his two commanderies were destroyed. However, Lin Ling had become a formidable opponent that could not be eliminated. Who would have thought that Lin Ling would be killed by Luo Xiaofan in the end? Lord Luo Xiaofan, I'll kill him. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. A burly man took the initiative to attack. His cultivation was at the first stage of the martial immortal realm. In the past, he could only be slaughtered by Lin Ling. But now, he was confident that he could kill Lin Ling. Lin Ling, remember, the one who will kill you is Qing Tai Tian of the Azure Dragon Divine Mansion. Surging true dragon aura burst out, and a dragon roared in the sky. After rolling one round, it charged towards Lin Ling. In fact, I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. Staring at the dragon in the sky, Lin Ling's long hair fluttered in the wind. He was like one of the four most ferocious beasts in the universe. A ferocious punch blasted out at the same time. He didn't release any realm essence and relied solely on his physical strength. Boom! The real dragon collided with Lin Ling's fist and instantly froze in place. Then, the sound of bones breaking could be heard. Crack, crack, crack. Finally, the whole real dragon exploded, and hot blood rained down from the sky. Amidst the blood, Lin Ling walked out with a savage and domineering smile on his face. How is this possible? A world king can kill a first stage of the martial immortal realm? This must be fake. Seeing this, people's eyes trembled in disbelief. I'll do it. You've been waiting for this moment for a long time? Sorry, we've been waiting even longer. Even more experts moved out, some turning into enormous spiders, some turning into human-faced sphinxes, all of them activating true deity martial souls, mixed with terrifying realm essence, rushing murderously at Lin Ling. With so many martial immortal realm experts, even if Lin Ling was a martial immortal realm expert, he would die with hatred. Not to mention, Lin Ling was only a world king. Too little. However, Lin Ling roared and leaped up. Like a god of war, he didn't even need to use any martial arts. Instead, he threw out a punch full of power. Boom! Under the punch, flesh and blood bloomed. An expert was killed. Boom! Another punch. The sky was like a fairy scattering flowers, but it was flesh and blood that scattered. How can he be so powerful? Everyone in the distance opened their mouths wide. Lin Ling was like a violent monster. His punches killed world essence. Even 10% of the power of the universe could not shake him. I've caught you. At this moment, an endless swamp appeared. It rolled, eerie and silent. In the distance, a fat old man was laughing heartily. His innate skill was very strange. It was actually the very rare earth attribute poison swamp. It should be known that anyone trapped in the swamp would find it difficult to move, let alone his divine body. His swamp power had even drowned 100 worlds. Good, as expected of thousand poisoned spiritual master. Seeing this, the crowd burst into laughter. Boom! However, his laughter didn't last long because the enormous swamp had exploded. It was as if it couldn't trap Lin Ling at all. Moreover, a figure had appeared before the old man, and it caused the old man's face to instantly turn pale. Because, his swamp power could devour third-level martial immortals, but it could not trap Lin Ling? Too weak. Lin Ling shook his head. Without waiting for the old man to speak, he punched out. Another martial immortal level expert had fallen. Come and get more of us. Lin Ling stepped on the ground. His blue robe was like a bright star shooting into the sky. He actually appeared above everyone's head. His terrifying fist smashed down like a meteor. Let's see how many people can block my fist. At the same time, a heroic voice sounded in the sky. Lin Ling planned to fight against 1,000 people by himself. Wasn't this Lin Ling's cultivation crippled? Why is he so terrifying? One person against 1,000 martial immortals. Even if Lin Ling's cultivation was still there, I'm afraid he wouldn't be so powerful. In a distant place, some weak people gathered there. They did not dare to participate in the battle, so they just watched. At this moment, they were all shocked by Lin Ling's tyranny. Stop him. At this moment, on the Sandthorn side, everyone's expression changed greatly. They galvanized their true divinity martial souls, World King martial arts, and even brought out powerful weapons, all of them wanting to block Lin Ling's fist. Buzz. The sound of metal colliding could be heard. Lin Ling's fist that came from the sky was blocked. Under the fist, all kinds of world essence gathered together, forming a huge light shield. Good, blocked. The experts on the ground were all overjoyed. Still too weak. However, in the sky, Lin Ling shook his head indifferently. Previously, he only used 70 universes of power. Now, a wisp of ancient ominous aura filled the air. When 80 universes of power arrived, an ancient roar sounded. His fist made cracking sounds, and blue veins popped out. How was this the arm of a human? It was simply the arm of a ferocious monster. The fist began to smash down again. The destructive intent was extremely terrifying. Not good. Everyone was shocked, but they could not block the meteor-like fist in the sky. Boom! When the fist smashed down, the entire ground exploded. Smoke soared into the sky, and a deep pit thousands of miles wide appeared. There were countless deaths and injuries. Those who were still alive were all pale with fright. Was this still Lin Ling who failed to break through? One must know that there were stage 4 martial immortals in this group, and there were so many of them, but they could not stop Lin Ling. Moreover, Lin Ling only used one fist in the entire process. Could it be the fist of the war god? You all thought that since I failed to break through, I would become a cripple from now on. But who told you that a martial artist's strength is evaluated by world essence? Even if I'm at the initial realm of martial arts, killing you all is just a matter of flipping my hand. At this moment, Lin Ling looked down at the people on the ground with arrogance. Chapter 29:13. One person against 1,000. Could it be physical strength? Luo Sha raised his head, looking at the man who was above him in the past. His face became even paler. Relying on physical strength, he killed early-stage martial immortals. What if Lin Ling recovered his cultivation? He didn't dare imagine. You all called me a cripple, but now, who is the cripple? Lin Ling's voice shook the heavens, sound waves curling about, making the third layer tremble. If one had to say who was the king of the third layer, it would undoubtedly be Lin Ling. All of you who are still alive, join hands, because if you don't, you won't have another chance. It was to the extent where Lin Ling coldly spat out a sentence, giving these ancient experts a final chance. Exceptional talents, you all had best grasp this final chance. Lin Ling's eyes also looked towards the past exceptional talents, making those exceptional talents' bodies tremble. Before, Lin Ling said he would give them a chance, but they didn't grasp it. Now, they had another chance. However, they didn't feel like this was their last chance. Stake it all. Someone roared. World essence rushed into the sky, rising and falling. An ancient giant ship floated behind him, as if it came from the ancient times. This person's talent was actually a rare ancient ship. When this ship appeared, ice, lightning, fire, and other powers shot out like cannons. Moreover, large amounts of people also rushed out from the ancient ship, their auras grand, as if a great army was descending. We must kill him. Another elder roared towards the sky, turning into an enormous ancient alligator. Its bloody mouth opened, devouring the world. 36 sword paths. The powerful swordsmen also attacked. They were all going all out. When a cultivator went all out, they could erupt with 120% of their strength. Moreover, with so many people joining hands, even if Sun Gu was still alive, he wouldn't dare face them head-on. However, the people of the imperial court saw that Lin Ling was still floating in the sky, his eyes actually revealing an expression of disdain. Your Excellency Lin Ling, so domineering. She thought back to the first time she met Lin Ling. At that time, Lin Ling had been extremely amiable and approachable. Now, as she looked at the Lin Ling that dominated the third level, the two figures overlapped, giving her a surreal feeling. He actually let these dukes make the first move. Under the heavens, who else could it be but him? The others spoke one after another. Still too weak. Almost at the same time, Lin Ling spoke as well. Billowing ferocious aura emanated from behind him and actually took on a physical form. The ferocious aura condensed and covered the sky, making Lin Ling seem like a demon god. Rumble. The sky seemed to have been torn apart, and a huge mouth appeared. It was like a huge black cloud, rolling and suppressing all life. The black sky in the huge mouth seemed to lead to the underworld. The realm-swallowing beast had arrived. A 10th-grade divine body. The aura of destruction, the aura of nirvanic extermination, and the cold aura exploded in the sky, causing the faces of the various vassals to turn pale. They watched helplessly as their attacks were all devoured by the huge mouth. Their attacks were of no use at all. Even if it was 120% attack, even if all of them joined forces, they were still suppressed by Lin Ling alone. The blue-robed figure in the sky became dazzling and piercingly cold at this moment. Not good, that mouth is going to devour us. Someone suddenly let out a cry of horror because a powerful suction force was born, pulling them. They could not control their bodies and could not resist. At this moment, they regretted and were afraid. Especially the ancient martial artists who had a good relationship with Lin Ling, they were the most miserable. Because if they did not make this choice today, Lin Ling would still be their friend. But now, Lin Ling was their enemy. All of this could not be blamed on them for looking down on others. It was because they did not expect that even if Lin Ling failed to break through, his strength would still be among the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. What a bold move. Is he going to kill the 4 magnates in one move? At this moment, a slender figure suddenly appeared in the sky. This person was wearing silver armor. The moment he appeared, a roaring aura filled the air. Great Ape of Change, save me! When Luo Sha Ci saw who it was, he immediately shouted. The latter was one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou, the Great Ape of Change. It was said that this person was transformed from a stone monkey. He entered the world to find a master and became the disciple of a reclusive expert. He studied hard for 800 years and finally came to Qingzhou. He defeated countless experts and became one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. This person was very strong. Even the 9 heavens of Qingzhou did not know his strength because he had never used his full strength. Therefore, Sun Gu and Luo Xia were extremely respectful towards him. They felt that this person was twice as strong as them. "It's you." Lin Ling also looked at the person who came. He had seen the great ape of change before. Back then, when he went to Tating Commandery for the first time, this heavens of Qingzhou appeared. "Lin Ling, I did not expect your strength to increase so much after we parted that day. Also, you failed to break through, but your strength is still strong. This surprised me. However, how about you give me some face and let them go?" The great ape of change looked at Lin Ling calmly. "Why should I give you face?" Lin Ling replied coldly. If he had really failed to break through, he wondered if the great ape of change would have come to save him at that time. "Good, very good." Hearing this, the great ape of change nodded. "For the sake of the imperial court, I will ignore your rudeness. However, remember, defeating Sun Gu does not mean anything. It only means that your luck is good. However, if you want to go to the 4th level, I advise you not to go." With that, he turned and left. Luck is good? Lin Ling's eyes flashed. He could see that the great ape of change was hostile towards him. If he really was a cripple today, the great ape of change would definitely attack him. However, his strength was ferocious now, so the great ape of change did not dare to attack him. This was not because they were afraid of him, but because they were afraid of the imperial court. Because Lin Ling was still strong, the imperial court would definitely not let anything happen to Lin Ling. I also advise you that the 4th and 5th levels are not places that trash can go. You better look at yourself carefully. Lin Ling said calmly. He also looked at the people on the ground. You're reminding me? However, Lin Ling's casual words made the great ape of change suddenly stop. He slowly turned around and a murderous aura appeared on his forehead. He stepped forward and shot towards Lin Ling with the speed of 14 worlds. He attacked just like that. Clearly, he was angry. Kaboom! The sky exploded. Rolling power exploded. It was incomparably ferocious. A giant palm slapped over. It was as if a giant ape was slapping towards Lin Ling. Lin Ling was unable to react to this sudden turn of events. He wanted to block it, but it was clearly a little too late. His chest was viciously slapped by a palm, and the sound of bones breaking rang out. The most terrifying thing was that the giant mouth was still floating in the sky, but it had no effect on the great ape of change. From this, one could see that this person's talent was extremely strong. He did not fear the realm-swallowing beast. Do you think I am Sun Gu? Chapter 29:14. Armor break. So powerful. On the ground, those vassals sucked in a breath of cold air, especially Luo Xiaofan. He couldn't help but reveal an excited smile. Although Lin Ling was powerful, compared to the famous Great Change Ape, he was indeed much weaker. One move, just one move, and Lin Ling was injured. And Lin Ling was injured, his spirit was also suppressed. Maybe they could escape with their lives. Bang! At this moment, on the ground, Lin Ling stood up again, blood at the corner of his mouth. This Great Change Ape indeed had some ability. Then, his body shook, and the bones in his body emitted crisp sounds. He actually recovered in an instant. This made the Great Change Ape in the sky narrow its eyes. Lin Ling took a direct hit from its palm, and then recovered in an instant. Bang! Lin Ling began to step forward, step by step towards the sky. The ground, the sky, terrifying ripples blossomed. His battle intent surged, and his ferocious aura soared, shaking the world. It was like an emperor trembling. Lin Ling dares to fight the Great Change Ape? Bang! Everyone's eyes were glued to the scene. Of the azure province's 9 heavens, the more famous they were, the weaker they were, such as Sun Bone and Luo Sha Thorn. On the contrary, the less famous they were, the stronger they were, such as the Great Change Ape, and the remaining mysterious heavens. This was a secret that everyone in the Great Azure Divine Dynasty knew. However, Lin Ling dared to fight the Great Change Ape. Moreover, he was currently in the World King realm. With this cultivation, he might be able to easily kill a third-level martial immortal, but against the heavens, it was impossible. The Great Change Ape frowned, looking at Lin Ling with a strange gaze. Lin Ling walked towards it step by step. His expression was calm, but his eyes were cold, and his ferocious aura surged. "You want to attack me?" Bang! The Great Change Ape opened its mouth, its voice a bit low. It didn't like Lin Ling's gaze because it was too cold, too calm, as if it was looking down on it. One had to know that even if Lin Ling was at his peak, Lin Ling wasn't qualified to look down on it, let alone a Lin Ling who had failed to break through. "I hope you don't disappoint me." Lin Ling slowly stretched out his fist. His ancient bloodline was roaring with destruction and fanaticism. It was as if a ferocious beast was roaring at the heavens and earth. That punch contained surging battle intent as it blasted towards the Great Change Ape. "You can't see yourself clearly." The Great Change Ape coldly shouted, and then a black stone ape appeared behind it. It was several thousand li tall, towering between the heavens and the earth, like a Vajrabone ape that split the world apart. The surging power of the world essence, along with the beast chi and the power of the universe, transformed into a fist to resist Lin Ling's vicious fist. Boom! Boom! Pop! Pop! It was as if two ferocious beasts of the universe were colliding. Destructive auras surged in all directions. Some of the weaker cultivators, even if they were far away, were blown by the strong winds and fell to the ground one by one. "Lin Ling, is that all you've got?" A disdainful smile hung on the Great Change Ape's lips. However, when his fist collided with Lin Ling's fist, he discovered an unparalleled vicious aura erupting. This power was very strong, able to easily break through 20 worlds. And this was the power of the physical body. The Great Change Ape's expression instantly changed. He felt that Lin Ling's fist contained 800,000 universe power. What he collided with was not one person, but 80 worlds. He immediately roared, his left hand slamming onto his right fist, wanting to give his right fist more power to resist Lin Ling's fist. However, when he looked at Lin Ling, he discovered that Lin Ling's expression was extremely calm. Lin Ling's left hand also slammed onto his right fist. An even more terrifying power poured out, as if the sound of the sea was roaring. A sea of thunder, a sea of wind, a sea of fire, and all the other world seas, at this moment, actually all condensed into Lin Ling's right fist. That deafening sound of a tsunami caused the third level to rumble. Not good. The Great Change Ape knew that he underestimated Lin Ling. He shouldn't have easily received that fist. It was too powerful, like the fist of the Sea of 10,000 Worlds. At this moment, he suddenly felt some regret. He simply didn't think that Lin Ling was still so powerful. Even if his world essence was crippled, his physical body was already at the top of Azure state. Crack, crack, crack. The armor on the Great Change Ape's body, at this moment, started to emit crisp sounds. Moreover, numerous cracks appeared. What? On the ground, everyone's pupils fiercely trembled. Before, when the Great Change Ape arrived and sent Lin Ling flying with one move, everyone knew that even among the 9 great heavens of Azure state, there were differences in strength. And Lin Ling didn't refute anything, so much so that he didn't even say anything. He directly used strength to prove everything. His fist was difficult for the Great Change Ape to receive. Even the armor on his body cracked. All of this was beyond imagination. Roar! The Great Change Ape sensed the cracks on his armor. He roared furiously, like a giant ape roaring. He didn't want to have his armor broken by Lin Ling and lose all face. Are you the only one who's ferocious? When he saw this, Lin Ling coldly spat out a sentence. The enormous mouth behind him also emitted a roar, and a surging aura collided with the great change ape's ancient ape. The bloodline from the ancient era was boiling at this moment, dancing wildly, becoming more and more domineering. In reality, the great change ape wasn't weaker than the current Lin Ling. In the collision between the two, Lin Ling merely had a slight upper hand. But Lin Ling had an advantage that the great change ape didn't have, and that was the strength of his physical body. One had to know that in the collision, the great change ape definitely suffered some injuries. But Lin Ling's physical body's recovery ability was powerful. Not only was he not injured, as time passed, his physical body became more and more powerful instead. This also made the balance start to tilt towards Lin Ling. I thought that the great change ape of Azure State's 9 great heavens would be very powerful. Unfortunately, you still slightly disappointed me. Lin Ling raised his head, his icy cold eyes meeting the great change apes. You're very formidable, surprising me greatly. But do you think that's all I have? The great change ape revealed fangs at the corners of his mouth, and he said gloomily. I'm going to break your armor, do you believe me? Lin Ling said again, making the great change ape's expression change, and he roared furiously, dream on. Lin Ling said that he would break his armor in front of so many people. Did he think that he, the great change ape, didn't exist? He wasn't the likes of Sun Bone. You'll see. Surging boundary essence started to appear on Lin Ling's fist. At the beginning, it was the boundary essence of the third Dantian. Gradually, the boundary essence of the second Dantian also silently surged out. He didn't believe that the great change ape could block him for long. However, when the boundary essence of his third Dantian had just surged out, this power was like the last straw that broke the camel's back, causing a clear sound to resound out. Crack! The armor on the great change ape's entire body instantly split apart, spraying out in all directions. He sprayed out a mouthful of blood, his body flying out. Rumble! The ground was smashed by the great change ape, an enormous and deep pit appeared, and enormous rocks rolled in the sky like straw. Chapter 29:15. What an ugly person! Bang! 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 At the same time, the ground shook as a giant ape roared furiously, and then a figure shot out from the ground. This person's hair was disheveled, and there were traces of blood on his body. It was the great ape of change. At this moment, he had his head lowered, and his expression was extremely unsightly as he looked at the shattered armor on his body. Earlier, he didn't take Lin Ling seriously and defeated Lin Ling with a single move. After that, Lin Ling returned the favor. However, what was even more terrifying than the great ape of change was that Lin Ling's punch had shattered the armor that he was most proud of. Lin Ling was telling him that it was only one of the 9 great heavens of Azure Province. It wasn't the great ape of change that was one, but he, Lin Ling, was one as well. I'll kill you. The great ape of change raised his head, and his eyes were completely red. I'm looking forward to that. Lin Ling tilted his head slightly and revealed a bloodthirsty smile. If the great ape of change was a violent ancient ape, then Lin Ling was a ferocious being. Let's see who was more ferocious and ferocious. Those words caused the great ape of change to frown tightly. I didn't use my full strength earlier, and I only used 70% of my strength. As one of the 9 great heavens of Azure Province, the great ape of change was naturally not as weak as it seemed. However, it would be slightly troublesome if it wanted to unleash even greater strength. So, it wanted to use these words to tell Lin Ling that it would be extremely easy for it to destroy Lin Ling. You think you're the only one who didn't use your full strength? However, Lin Ling smiled and spat out a sentence coldly. This caused the great ape of change to be stunned on the spot. Lin Ling's strength was so terrifying just now, yet he hadn't used his full strength. What if Lin Ling used his full strength? It simply didn't dare to imagine. It was even to the extent that it thought Lin Ling was lying to it. However, it could only continue fighting if it wanted to know everything. Once it continued fighting, it wouldn't benefit the great ape of change at all. Because it had only come to the 3rd level out of curiosity. The 4th level was its true battlefield, and it couldn't miss the treasures on the 4th level. I'll remember you, Lin Ling. After pondering for a moment, the great change ape didn't dare to start the final battle. After leaving behind a few words, it strode away. A stray dog dares to speak such arrogant words. Looking indifferently at the great change ape, Lin Ling disdainfully spat out, "You say you are not a sun bone, but in reality, in my eyes, you are no different from a sun bone." A stray dog? The great change ape recalled Lin Ling's words. It roared angrily and endured that humiliation. In the end, it disappeared into the distance. However, when everyone looked at its back, they found that it cut a bit of a sorry figure. Even when the great change ape completely disappeared, the earth was still silent. Everyone was looking at the man in the sky, their hearts shaking. Someone as strong as the great change ape, Lin Ling actually used a single punch to force the other back. This meant that all of them had misjudged Lin Ling. Even if Lin Ling failed to break through, he was still not someone they could provoke. Thinking of this, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. They were very, very regretful. Luo Xiaofan, do you know that I've been looking for you for a long time? I didn't expect you to come out on your own. At this moment, Lin Ling's gaze shifted as he looked at Luo Xiaofan with a cold smile. Luo Xiaofan was the most regretful of all. Originally, he didn't have to face Lin Ling. With the 99th prince beside him, it would be difficult for Lin Ling to touch him. However, he thought that Lin Ling had failed to break through and was completely crippled. Therefore, he seized this opportunity to come and wash away the humiliation of his commandery. However, this pride and complacency didn't last long. Reality let him know that returning to the 3rd level was the worst choice in his life. You can't escape. Lin Ling naturally knew the regret in Luo Xiaofan's heart. He didn't say much and shot down from the sky towards the ground. A rolling fist blasted towards Luo Xiaofan. Sand World Storm. Luo Xiaofan's pupils constricted as he unleashed all his strength. His true god martial soul was activated and a pitch-black sand emperor appeared behind him. His long robes fluttered in the wind and turned into a 3-edged sand knife that slashed towards the sky. At this moment, all the heroes were extremely nervous because Luo Xiaofan was their last line of defense. However, this line of defense was obviously useless. Not to mention the current Lin Ling, even the previous Lin Ling could easily defeat Luo Xiaofan. Rumble. A meteor came crashing down from the sky. A ferocious fist stirred up the sand, causing it to split into pieces. Then, the fist landed on Luo Xiaofan's chest. Crack, crack, crack. The sound of bones breaking was immediately heard. Pop, pop, pop. Then, there was a muffled sound that sounded like thunder. Luo Xiaofan's dantian had collapsed. Crash. Luo Xiaofan's limbs and bones were smashed into pieces by the powerful fist. Plop. Luo Xiaofan fell to the ground and his eyes were filled with dismay. As one of the 9 heavens of Qing province, he couldn't withstand a single punch from Lin Ling. He stared at the man in front of him and laughed bitterly in his heart. The first time he met Lin Ling was in the 8 gods' heavenly palace. At that time, Lin Ling was like an ant. Now, Lin Ling and he met again in the 8 gods' heavenly palace, but the ant had become him. Destroy my realm. It's useless even if you run to the ends of the earth. I won't kill you. But now, you'll have to experience what it means to live a life worse than death. Lin Ling looked down at Luo Shaoxi. Luo Shaoxi's expression was calm. Perhaps he also knew what would happen if he fell into Lin Ling's hands. At this moment, he wasn't angry at all. Instead, he was very calm, very calm. There were countless geniuses in the universe. In this process, a large number of geniuses fell and a large number of geniuses rose like comets. And now, he met Lin Ling. It could only be said that he had lost to Lin Ling in the competition of martial arts. Little Kunlun, look at him. Lin Ling didn't look at Luo Shaoxi again. He spoke softly to his left arm. Immediately, vines slithered out like snakes, binding Luo Shaoxi. Meanwhile, Lin Ling stepped out, walking towards the sky and looking down on the various vassals on the ground. Lin Ling, do you still remember me? I am from the Southern Dao. In the past, I had a meal with you in a restaurant in Four Ring City. At the time, Sunset Brilliance was also present. Lin Ling, I was wrong. The vassals and exceptional talents on the ground all began to panic at this moment. They wanted Lin Ling to let them go. They even spoke of their past friendship, hoping that Lin Ling would spare their lives out of respect for their past acquaintance. You people really are ugly. For the sake of the martial Dao, you can abandon everything. Friendship, family, love, in your eyes, everyone serves you. If they are useful to you, you will receive them with a smile. If they are useless to you, you will stab them in the back. However, you all are also very pitiful. Even if you all become strong in the future and rule over the 9 provinces, when you look back, you all actually have nothing, only loneliness. Lin Ling coldly looked at the various vassals and said. When they heard this, no one could refute it. They were indeed people who could abandon everything for the sake of the martial Dao. In the future, when they looked back, in reality, there was nothing left in their memories. It was because all of their family, friendship, and love had been abandoned by them. They only had themselves in their hearts. Chapter 29:16. Wrong Intuition. However, I, Lin Ling, don't have the time to care about how pitiful you are. I only know that you will all die today. Lin Ling smiled and prepared to kill them all. After this incident, he had seen through this group of people. He, Lin Ling, did not need people who hid daggers behind their smiles. Lin Ling, you lied to us. You purposely leaked the news of your failure to break through to trick us. You wanted to kill us all in one fell swoop. At this time, an old man roared. He knew that he was going to die, but he was unwilling to accept it. Ha ha ha, as expected of a pitiful person. You still want to find excuses for yourself before you die. You say I lied to you? You say I purposely leaked the news? Dare I ask, when did I tell anyone that I failed to break through? When did I tell anyone that I was weak? Everything is just wishful thinking on your part. As the saying goes, if there is no evil in your heart, there is no need to fear ghosts. Lin Ling roared at the sky, and his face became even colder. These people had kicked him when he was down, and now they were blaming it on Lin Ling? In fact, if they did not target Lin Ling would not have the time to care about them. He would have entered the 4th level long ago. However, you say I lied to you? Fine, you are right. I did lie to you, but do you have the strength to resist? I, Lin Ling, really want to lie to you and play with you. What can you do? Lin Ling shot down from the sky like a meteor that wanted to destroy the world. No, spare my life. Give me another chance. Lin Ling, we were wrong. Everyone was roaring loudly, and even more people were kneeling down and kowtowing incessantly. The people of the imperial court were stunned. Not long ago, these people were discussing how to divide Lin Ling's treasures. Now, they were all begging for mercy and kowtowing. Such a scene gave them too much of a shock. Rumble. Lin Ling finally made his move. The realm-swallowing beast descended, and its rolling physical strength bombarded the earth, causing all living beings to die. After that fist smashed down, it destroyed all martial arts and realm essence, making several hundred people die. As for some ancient martial artists who were not weak, they fled in all directions. Their faces were all pale as if they were witnessing the end of the world. But could they escape? In the sky, the realm-swallowing beast appeared. Its giant mouth swallowed everything. Save me! Everyone screamed powerlessly, but in the end, they gradually disappeared into the giant mouth in the sky. Thousands of people were looking for Lin Ling. They wanted to kill Lin Ling, but they were all wiped out. How terrifying! Far away in the distance, the 4-9-eens were so scared that they collapsed to the ground. One of them even gave himself a vicious slap. This was because he saw that he was seeking his own death. Run! Run while Lin Ling hasn't discovered us yet. The 4-9-eens said in a trembling voice. They immediately planned to leave this place. However, just as he turned around, a slender figure appeared behind him like a grim reaper. 4-9-eens, you said that your intuition is very sharp, and it allowed you to live a very comfortable life. I wonder how your intuition is right now. Lin Ling said with a smile, his hands clasped behind his back. That appearance, that smile, it was as if the Grim Reaper had arrived. The 4-9-eens immediately smiled bitterly. All along, he had relied on his sharp intuition to live a very comfortable life. He knew that Lin Ling was famous in the Qing province, so he immediately went to curry favor with Lin Ling. However, he knew that Lin Ling had failed to break through, so he immediately flattered the Luo Sha thorn and made the right choice. But now, he did not think that his choice was right. The intuition that he was so proud of was obviously wrong at this moment. Lin Ling, don't kill me. The 4-9-eens and the others knelt down and kept kowtowing. Although they were martial immortal experts, in reality, the older they were, the more afraid of death they were. That was because they were above tens of thousands of people in the 10,000 realms. They had already gotten used to this feeling of being above others. They had not enjoyed enough, and they did not want to die yet. No matter what, since you've made the final choice, then you have to accept the corresponding price. You trusted your intuition, but your intuition has harmed you. Lin Ling shook his head. He took a step forward and punched out. Seeing that ordinary punch coming, the 4-9-eens and the others' eyes slowly narrowed. It was as if they were looking at the Grim Reaper's scythe chopping towards their necks. Lin Ling, you once said that you hoped that my intuition was still sharp. At that time, I should have known that my intuition was wrong. The 4-9-eens muttered to himself. Then, he was killed by Lin Ling with a punch. After dealing with those people, Lin Ling took away all the treasures on their bodies. Then, he walked towards the imperial court. All the people of the imperial court were saved by Lin Ling. They looked at Lin Ling with reverence, their eyes filled with worship. Lin Ling had fought against 1,000 people by himself. Moreover, he was only a world king. His strength was too terrifying. Collect the treasures left behind by those who died. Consider them your rewards. Lin Ling smiled at the people of the imperial court. His gaze fell on Lin Ping, causing the latter to be extremely excited. After Lin Ling spoke, he turned and walked towards a person in the distance. That person was stunned on the ground, as if he had lost his soul. He was the Holy King. Out of everyone, he was the only one who had given up on killing Lin Ling. And now, he was the only one alive. Holy King, you've made the right choice. Lin Ling arrived in front of him and smiled. Yes, fortunately, I didn't break my promise. The Holy King reacted and bitterly smiled. The current Lin Ling was someone he had to look up to. Although he was afraid of the Lin Ling of the past, he was more afraid of the overlord behind Lin Ling. "Thank you, but I also didn't break my promise." Lin Ling waved his hand. He stepped onto the ground and shot off into the distance. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Beneath his feet, the ground cracked open, as if a vicious monster was leaving. "Your Excellency Lin Ling, how awe-inspiring." The people of the imperial court looked at Lin Ling. They hoped that one day they would be as strong as Lin Ling and be able to save the people of the imperial court by themselves. He should have gone to the 4th level. That is his world. Lin Ping smiled. She knew that after separating from Lin Ling, it would be difficult for her to see Lin Ling again. But, she believed that one day she would catch up to Lin Ling. This was because the template of her future husband was impressively based on Lin Ling. The news of Lin Ling defeating 1,000 people by himself spread like a snowball to the ears of the overlords of the 4th level. On the 4th level, on a giant flower petal, a man in a loose cloak looked into the distance. Then, a black ray of light shot over from afar. Upon closer inspection, the light looked like a ball of flesh. The surface of the ball of flesh was filled with human heads. Some of the heads were smiling, while others were crying. It was extremely terrifying. 99th Prince, something happened on the 3rd level. The ball of flesh exclaimed. "I know. It's about the Luo Sha thorn, right? He should have killed Lin Ling." The cloaked man said calmly. "No, the Luo Sha thorn was caught by Lin Ling." The ball of flesh fell silent for a moment and suddenly said in a serious tone. Chapter 29:17. Broken Sword. That's not the case. Lin Ling defeated the Luo Sha thorn by himself. Moreover, the 1,000 or so exceptional talents and dukes on the 3rd floor were all defeated by Lin Ling. What? Lin Ling is this strong? Impossible. How did he defeat the Luo Sha thorn? One punch, just one punch. After knowing the process, the cloaked man's pupils constricted and he slowly took off his cloak. As one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou, Lin Ling defeated Luo Sha Ci with a single punch? Could it be that he didn't fail? It could be seen that this man was very shocked, extremely shocked. He was the 99th Prince, one of the people behind the scenes of the imperial court. He still failed to break through, but his physical strength suddenly increased greatly, relying on his terrifying strength to defeat everyone. The meatball said solemnly. "What a strange guy, to be able to become one of the 9 heavens with his physical strength. I'm afraid he's the only freak in Qing state. But no matter, physical strength can't become a great Tao, it can only be awe-inspiring for a while." After knowing that Lin Ling didn't succeed, the 99th Prince relaxed. Everyone knew that boundary essence was the method of top martial artists. Without boundary essence, one couldn't use the power of the universe and their talent would be greatly weakened. Therefore, relying on physical strength wasn't a long-term solution. This Lin Ling is still a cripple, let's ignore him for now and prepare to fight for the Emperor's life essence. The 99th Prince continued, "Right now, the giants are starting to shed all pretenses for the sake of obtaining the Emperor's life essence. If we can get the Emperor's life essence closer to the Azure Emperor's Imperial Jade Seal, we can't miss this opportunity." Yes. The prince is right, the big picture is more important. Yes. The meatball immediately replied, but he didn't say one thing, which was that Lin Ling made the Great Change Ape return in a sorry state. He originally wanted to say it, but everything was as the 99th Prince said. Lin Ling was only temporarily awe-inspiring. Without cultivation, he wasn't worth mentioning. The same thing was happening in the other magnates as well. They were all surprised by Lin Ling's strength, but knowing that Lin Ling relied on his physical strength to defeat his opponent, they were not so afraid of Lin Ling. Perhaps Lin Ling would still be one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou, but that would be the limit for the rest of his life. It would be difficult for him to improve any further. Good, Lin Ling has crossed a great tribulation. I originally wanted to ask someone to help him, but I didn't expect him to be so unyielding. When the third prince heard the news, he couldn't help but laugh. In fact, she had been very worried about Lin Ling. After all, if something happened to Lin Ling, she would not be able to explain it to Grandma Wen Dao. Have someone tell Lin Ling that it's fine for him to stay on the 3rd floor. Don't come to the 4th floor. The third prince stood on a huge vine and waved his arms as he shouted. It was as if the Azure Emperor had descended upon the world. The countless cultivators around him nodded in agreement. The 4th level was indeed turbulent. This was the battlefield of the strongest cultivators of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. At this moment, Lin Ling was on his way to the 4th floor, because the treasures on the 3rd floor could no longer attract his attention. Moreover, the experts of the giants were all on the 4th floor. His big brother was definitely there too. The monster guarding the 3rd floor was a huge water spirit giant. It was completely transparent, as if it was formed by the water of 10,000 worlds. This giant also had an indestructible body and had the strength of a 4th-level martial immortal. Of course, this strength could not stop Lin Ling, and Lin Ling smoothly passed the 3rd floor. The 4th floor was the land of the wood element. After entering, it was as if one had shrunk. This was a huge world of plants. Vines intertwined, ancient trees towered into the sky, and even a flower was as big as a small mountain. Lin Ling stood on a huge leaf with a smile on his face. Back then, Li Xiaoyao had reached the 5th floor. Now, he was getting closer and closer. Then, Lin Ling stepped forward and flew into the distance. Lin Ling, save me. Hurry. Not long after flying, an anxious voice suddenly sounded from the ground. Lin Ling looked down and saw that under a huge ancient tree, there was a battle. A few people who looked like they were from the Imperial Dragon Court were besieging a woman. And the one who shouted for Lin Ling was that woman. Xian Linglong. Hurry. Lin Ling saw that it was someone he knew. He stopped flying and landed on a huge leaf. Help me, they want to kill me. Help. Xian Linglong activated her talent, and the image of a dragon turtle floated out, causing a huge black turtle shell to appear within 100 meters. Its defense was extremely strong. Lin Ling even sensed 10% of the power of the universe on the turtle shell. Lin Ling. Hurry. As for the people besieging Xian Linglong, they were a bit nervous at first, but they soon relaxed. They thought that Xian Linglong had found someone to help her, but it turned out to be Lin Ling. They naturally knew that Lin Ling had failed to break through, so Lin Ling was not worth mentioning in their hearts. As for Xian Linglong, she was also surprised that Lin Ling appeared here. She did not think that Lin Ling could help her, but she did not have any other choice. Why should I help you? However, Lin Ling suddenly laughed, making Xian Linglong stunned. She and Lin Ling were both from the Imperial Court, but he did not intend to help her when he saw that she was in trouble. What nonsense are you talking about? Xian Linglong felt that it was unbelievable. Lin Ling shook his head and turned to leave. He had failed to break through, and Xian Linglong had treated him coldly. Since that was the case, why would Lin Ling help her? Lin Ling, you. Seeing that Lin Ling was about to leave, Xian Linglong couldn't help but cry out in alarm. Her black tortoise divine shell could not last much longer, and Lin Ling did not want to help her. She was very disappointed. Huh, black tortoise divine manners young miss, hand over the treasure in your hand. For the sake of the black tortoise divine manner, we will spare your life. As for Lin Ling, he definitely wants to leave, because if he stays, he won't be able to protect himself. The people around Xian Linglong laughed loudly. They were all in the 3rd stage martial immortal realm, and their talents were slightly higher than the duke's on the third floor. Xian Linglong, what treasure did you get? Hand it to me, I'll save you. At this time, Lin Ling's voice suddenly sounded, startling Xian Linglong. She gritted her teeth, Lin Ling, you're shameless. We're all from the imperial court, but you want to take a reward for helping me, you're too shameless. Hee, Xian Linglong, don't make yourself sound so righteous. When I failed to break through, you turned hostile. Although you didn't hit me when I was down, your eyes were very realistic, which made me very unhappy. Therefore, you don't have the qualifications to criticize me now. Let's make a deal, I help you, you hand over the treasure, and we don't owe each other anything. Lin Ling said indifferently. You're a profiteer. Xian Linglong cursed, but in truth, Lin Ling's words made her feel a little ashamed. I got a broken sword, it's very extraordinary, even I couldn't see through it. I wanted to bring it back for father to examine, but I was stopped by them. Xian Linglong revealed the treasure she got. Broken sword? Lin Ling's eyes lit up. Xian Linglong's background was not small, a treasure that could catch her eye must be extraordinary. Chapter 29:18. Reaching the fourth floor. Bastard, I just got the sword tip. I haven't even touched it, and you want to steal my stuff? You are so greedy. Xian Linglong was fuming, but she still took out the sword tip. However, after the sword tip appeared, Lin Ling realized that the tyrannical song sword behind him suddenly jumped up. It seemed to be telling Lin Ling that he must get the sword tip. The tyrannical song sword wants the sword tip? No, it's the scabbard. Lin Ling was shocked. He suddenly remembered that after he got the scabbard, the headless old man kept saying that he wanted to find his head and his sword. Could the sword tip be the sword in the scabbard? This sword tip is mine. Lin Ling roared. He was wild and unruly. He was like a meteor crashing down on the ground as he pounced on those people. Lin Ling, how dare you? Those people were furious. They never thought that Lin Ling, who had failed to break through, would dare to attack them. You are too weak. The world-swallowing beast appeared behind Lin Ling. 800,000 universe power exploded. He waved his fists and the power to move mountains and rivers. Boom! Boom! In less than the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, those people were killed by Lin Ling. Xian Linglong was stunned. She never thought that Lin Ling would be so strong. Give me the sword tip. Lin Ling walked toward her step by step. His face was cold. Heartless guy. Seeing this, Xian Linglong gritted her teeth. She could only reluctantly throw the sword tip to Lin Ling. Lin Ling carefully caught it. He looked at it carefully. The sword tip was very ordinary. It was the front part of the sword. He couldn't even see any spiritual energy. However, if he used his soul power to check, he could see a touch of sharp energy. This energy was like a demon. It was cold and gloomy. It was exactly the same as the energy emitted by the scabbard. Looks like the sword tip really did come from the scabbard. Lin Ling thought to himself. He took off the scabbard on his back and carefully placed it next to the sword point. What surprised Lin Ling was that when the sword point approached the scabbard, a cold cloud immediately floated out of the scabbard, transforming into a headless old man. This old man actually held the sword point in his hand, as if he was investigating something. Where is my sword? The headless old man's voice was very low, and he disappeared into the sword sheath along with the tip of the sword. Seeing this mysterious scene, Lin Ling was somewhat astonished. This old man was still as crazy as ever. Then, he picked up the scabbard and was surprised to find that the killing intent the scabbard emitted towards him had dimmed significantly. Looks like this headless old man wants me to find the sword for him. If I can't find it, he'll kill me. What a troublesome fellow. Lin Ling guessed as he put the tyrannical song sword on his back again. As for Xian Linglong, she was dumbstruck as she looked at this scene. She never thought that the mysterious sword point was related to Lin Ling, so, the treasure you just obtained is actually mine. Looking at it from another angle, you still owe me a favor. Lin Ling did not explain anything as he looked at Xian Linglong with a faint smile and said, "You're shameless." Xian Linglong immediately cursed. However, she was also surprised by Lin Ling's strength. In an incense stick's worth of time, Lin Ling had taken care of several third-level martial immortal experts. This Lin Ling is still as powerful as before. Oh right, answer my question and I'll tell you a piece of news. Xian Linglong suddenly thought of something. She quickly looked at Lin Ling and said, "Let me ask you, how is your strength? Are you still in World King Realm? Are you blind? Isn't my aura of World King Realm? The reason why I can defeat them is because of the strength of my physical body. In the Blackwater region, I obtained the Seawater Heart Flower." Lin Ling did not hide anything and directly said, "But isn't there a ferocious creature in the Blackwater region?" Xian Linglong was startled once again. Lin Ling's physical body is comparable to a third-level martial immortal. This is too frightening. Will the ferocious creature kill people? After I left with you, I went to the Blackwater region again. After I saw the ferocious creature, I discussed with it for a long time. In the end, it saw that I was easy to talk to, so it gave me the Seawater Heart Flower. Lin Ling said, "You lied to me." Xian Linglong opened her mouth wide. She had also sensed how frightening that ferocious creature was. Lin Ling was merely a human, how could he talk to it? What qualifications do you have to be lied to by me? Whether you believe it or not, you'd better tell me what you know. Lin Ling continued. Xian Linglong's eyes kept flickering. She did not know whether Lin Ling was telling the truth or not. However, she felt that it was impossible for Lin Ling to defeat that ferocious creature. Alright, since you are not weak, I will roughly explain the situation on the 4th level. First, the magnates are fighting for the essence of the Son of Heaven's will in the 4th level. It is said that this is a kind of essence fragment that can turn the Son of Heaven's will into the Azure Emperor's Imperial Jade Seal. There is no need to complete the task of handing over the Son of Heaven's will. The Imperial Court is currently fighting with the magnates and lacks manpower. Second, Meng Lu and I found a divine cave not long ago. There are countless treasures inside. The sword tip was obtained from the divine cave. However, there are experts who want to get their hands on the divine cave, so there is a battle there. I want you to return to the divine cave with me and help them. Xian Linglong said slowly. You actually ran away halfway and abandoned them. Meng Lu is really unlucky to know you. Hearing this, Lin Ling could not help but smile. He somewhat understood the meaning behind Xian Linglong's words. She wanted him to be her helper. What do you mean by abandoning them? Do you know which experts have gone to the divine cave? There is the Sovereign Marquis, the 181st Crown Prince of the 9 Heavens of the Green Region, and experts from the Thunder Mansion. With my strength, how do you think I can help? Hearing Lin Ling's words, Xian Linglong was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. She jumped up and down and said, All right, I misunderstood you. However, with your character, you would ask for help. It seems like there is someone you care about in the divine cave. Let me guess, it should be Meng Lu. You like him? Lin Ling suddenly smiled and said, Lin Ling, you can't spit out ivory from your filthy mouth. Xian Linglong's face instantly turned red. Lin Ling was shocked that this ambitious and ruthless woman would act like a little girl. Oh right, your brother is there too. Suddenly, Xian Linglong said again. What? Why didn't you say so earlier? Hearing this, Lin Ling's face instantly changed. What's the use of saying so earlier? I don't even know how strong you are. If you are too weak, wouldn't you be courting death? Xian Linglong curled her lips and said. Quick, lead the way. Lin Ling could not be bothered to talk nonsense with Xian Linglong. Are you sure? You should know that there are countless experts there. If they see you, they might give up on the treasure and kill you. Xian Linglong did not expect Lin Ling to be so anxious. In her opinion, although Lin Ling was powerful, there was still a certain gap between him and experts like the Sovereign Marquis. If I ask you to lead the way, then lead the way. If your boyfriend dies, then it has nothing to do with me. Chapter 29:19. The terrifying Crimson Pearl Sound Vine. Don't worry, as long as my brother is here, I will definitely go. Moreover, although I hate you, it doesn't mean that I hate Meng Lu and the Marquis of Sovereign Heaven. Lin Ling's voice came from the front, mixed with calmness. Xian Linglong was stunned, but her gaze quickly fell behind Lin Ling. There, a person was tied up by a black vine. And that person seemed to be Luo Sha-ci. Luo Sha-ci, one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou, was caught by Lin Ling and tied up like a dog. This scene made Xian Linglong speechless. She looked at Lin Ling with fear in her eyes. Could it be that Lin Ling's strength was still among the top of the 9 heavens? Lin Ling, you caught Luo Sha-ci? Who helped you? Xian Linglong quickly caught up with Lin Ling and asked in surprise. It's just Luo Sha-ci, do I need help? I already said, even if it's someone like the Marquis of Sovereign Heaven, I still want to meet them. Lin Ling shot forward like a meteor. He didn't even look at Xian Linglong because he felt that Xian Linglong's words were idiotic. Before Lin Ling broke through, Luo Sha-ci could only run like a dog when he saw him, let alone after he broke through. Xian Linglong naturally didn't know what Lin Ling was thinking about her. She frowned. Lin Ling failed to break through, and she saw it with her own eyes. So, how could Lin Ling defeat Luo Sha-ci? Could it be that someone really helped him? I hope he can help. Xian Linglong said to herself. The two of them went deeper and passed through a large number of ancient trees. At this moment, a silver world appeared in front of them. It was bright and countless vines intertwined like snakes. We're here. After passing through those crimson pearl sound vines, we'll reach the divine cave. Xian Linglong stopped on a huge flower petal, her hair fluttering in the breeze. That's the divine cave? At the side, Lin Ling had his hands behind his back, calmly looking into the distance. Through the countless vines, Lin Ling saw a huge silver tree standing tall on the ground. This tree was as grand as a city, and there was a huge tree hole under the tree. So the divine cave was that tree hole. Moreover, at this moment, a mysterious silver light shone down from the top of the tree. This made Lin Ling frown. That tree was somewhat familiar to him. Lin Ling, those crimson pearl sound vines cannot be underestimated. If they hear the slightest sound, they will capture the nearby creatures. When I escaped from there before, I didn't even dare to breathe. So if we want to go back, we must be very careful. We must not awaken the vines. Xian Linglong looked at Lin Ling and said. However, she discovered that Lin Ling didn't listen to her at all. Lin Ling, did you hear that? This is not a small matter. You must not be careless. Maybe you are stronger than me and your status in Qingzhou is higher than mine. But at least I have just experienced the crimson pearl sound vines and know how terrifying this divine item is. At the end of her speech, Xian Linglong's voice became serious and even dignified. She was originally a heroine with great ambition. After she became dignified, she had the aura of a superior. Cut the crap. Let's go to the tree hole now. However, Lin Ling was still staring ahead. Then, he said something that made Xian Linglong confused. Did you understand what I said? Xian Linglong was instantly furious. Because she had kindly reminded Lin Ling, but Lin Ling didn't give her any face and pretended to understand in front of her. She admitted that she had underestimated Lin Ling. However, she had already given him a treasure as an apology. Lin Ling, why be so stingy? However, Lin Ling didn't wait for her to say more. He took a step forward and carried her in his arms. Then, he shot forward. Ah, Lin Ling, you. Xian Linglong was dumbfounded. Lin Ling, what was he doing? Could it be that his bestial nature had suddenly erupted? Lin Ling, if you dare to mess around with me, my black warrior divine manner will not let you off. Xian Linglong shouted. Her eyes were moist because she wanted to resist, but she realized that she couldn't resist Lin Ling. The feeling that Lin Ling gave her was tyrannical and rude. Of course, after she shouted, Xian Linglong realized that Lin Ling was actually rushing toward the crimson pearl sound vines. This guy is courting death. She had warned Lin Ling earlier, but Lin Ling didn't listen. This time, Xian Linglong's face was ashen. She never imagined that she would die in the Eight Gods' heavenly palace. She was unwilling because her father had asked for the Son of Heaven's mandate for her. She had the chance to become the Azure Emperor. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. At the same time, silvery lights flickered in the sky and on the ground like fireworks. Countless vines heard the noise and shot toward Lin Ling. That kind of speed wasn't something that an early martial immortal could dodge. According to legend, the crimson pearl sound vines were used by gods to capture demon spirits in ancient times, and they had succeeded time after time, never once failing. Lin Ling, you're killing us. Xian Linglong couldn't resist being hugged by Lin Ling, but her hands weren't grabbed. Therefore, she slapped Lin Ling's face. Of course, after this slap, she calmed down, and her heart was filled with fear. Who in the Azure province didn't know about Lin Ling's fierce reputation? One wrong word and he would annihilate a country. But now, because of anger, she slapped Lin Ling. This was courting death. If Lin Ling asked the third prince to take action, their black warrior divine manner would be implicated. I'm sorry. Xian Linglong hurriedly apologized, completely forgetting that they were already trapped by the crimson pearl sound vines. Shut up. However, Lin Ling's expression was solemn as he continued to look ahead, completely ignoring Xian Linglong's slap. This stunned Xian Linglong, then her mouth fell open. She noticed that Lin Ling was carrying her at a speed exceeding 15 worlds, weaving through the crimson pearl sound vines. There were several times when they were surrounded by danger, almost being entangled by the crimson pearl sound vines, but Lin Ling managed to evade them. Could it be that he wants to bring me past the crimson pearl sound vines? This lunatic. Xian Linglong noticed Lin Ling's intention and couldn't help sucking in a breath of cold air. To pass through the crimson pearl sound vines, one only needed to make no noise. This was the safest method, but Lin Ling dashed past the crimson pearl sound vines. Wasn't this challenging the crimson pearl sound vines' limit? Watch out. While Xian Linglong was thinking, the numerous vines above her head shot out like tentacles. Their speed was so fast that Xian Linglong couldn't help but warn Huang Xiaolong. Lin Ling ignored Xian Linglong. His gaze swept over the surroundings, noticing that the area had been sealed off. These crimson pearl sound vines were indeed powerful, possessing the speed of 12 worlds. Adding on the fact that there were so many of them, it gave people the feeling that they couldn't escape even if they grew wings. There's no way out. Lin Ling shook his head. It's all your fault, I reminded you out of kindness, but you didn't listen. Xian Linglong couldn't help but complain as she looked at the silver space that was sealed off. Tears of unwillingness flowed out from her eyes. Chapter 29-20. Tit for tat. However, just as she finished speaking, Lin Ling had already moved. He actually shot towards the silver vine in front of him. The vines were like sharp blades. After Lin Ling passed through, they actually cut him apart. Lin Ling carried Xian Linglong on his shoulder. In order to protect her, his left arm kept tearing apart the crimson pearl sound vines in front of him. As a result, his entire left arm was cut apart. This time, Xian Linglong was stunned because Lin Ling could have abandoned her, but Lin Ling didn't. Moreover, in order to prevent her from being injured, Lin Ling actually used his left arm and body to resist the crimson pearl sonic vine. Rumble. With Lin Ling's brutal charge, he finally broke out of the crimson pearl soundvine's encirclement. A huge tree hole appeared in front of him. Silver light sprinkled down from the sky like the moon, enveloping the entire tree. However, just as the silver light was about to reach the ground, Lin Ling coincidentally rushed into the divine hole. Bang! Xian Linglong was immediately thrown to the ground by Lin Ling. However, she did not blame Lin Ling. Instead, she looked at Lin Ling. This was because Lin Ling's entire body was dripping with blood. His body had been cut into pieces, and even his intestines were exposed. It was a ghastly sight. "Are you all right?" Xian Linglong asked worriedly. "I'm fine." Lin Ling looked behind him and let out a sigh of relief. Then his body shook and those wounds healed quickly. Even his broken left arm grew back. This kind of magical power made Xian Linglong sit there in a daze. She naturally knew that powerful warriors could be reborn from a drop of blood. However, this required a process. Lin Ling could recover in the blink of an eye. This was simply unheard of. "Thank you for earlier," he said. "I thought you were going to mess around, but it turns out you wanted to rush into the divine cave. But you were too impulsive." At first, Xian Linglong thought that Lin Ling wanted to do something to her, but now she knows that she misunderstood. "You're the one who's being impulsive. Who do you think I, Lin Ling, am? You're just a toad-like girl. Do you think I, Lin Ling, would fancy you? Moreover, you are actually crying. Are you afraid that I will rape you? Why don't you look in the mirror?" Lin Ling glanced at Xian Linglong and strode forward. "Nothing good comes out of your filthy mouth." Xian Linglong was fuming with anger. Her gratitude towards Lin Ling disappeared instantly. That was because this Lin Ling, who had always been cold and callous, spoke too smelly. No matter what, she was still a beautiful woman. In Lin Ling's mouth, she had actually become a toad. Was he, Lin Ling, a white swan? Also, you slapped me before. This, you have to pay for it. In front, Lin Ling's voice floated over again. Bah! Xian Linglong cursed angrily. Of course, she still caught up with Lin Ling. She knew that this divine cave was not to be underestimated. It was very dangerous to walk alone. Can you blame me for this? I've already reminded you that if you want to pass through those silver vines, you must not make any noise. But you still swaggered through it. Do you think you're Emperor Qin, or do you think you're a god? After catching up with Lin Ling, Xian Linglong reprimanded him. Turn around and look at the entrance of the cave. Lin Ling frowned and said disdainfully. His words made Xian Linglong stop in her tracks. She turned around and saw that the entrance of the giant tree cave was covered with a layer of mysterious silver light, like a waterfall. What's this? Xian Linglong was puzzled. This is the Silver King ancient tree, an excellent place for cultivation. Ancient cultivators love to cultivate in this kind of tree cave, treating it as their own cultivation dwelling. That silver light is called Nirvana Silver Netherworld Juice. It's the secreted leaves of the Silver King ancient tree. When the silver light shrouds the entire ancient tree, not even a celestial being can get close to it. This is also the reason why ancient cultivators love to cultivate here, because it's safe enough. Lin Ling continued walking forward, explaining slowly. But, what does this have to do with us rushing over? Xian Linglong was shocked. Even she, the daughter of the Black Warrior Divine Manor, didn't know about this, yet Lin Ling knew about it. She couldn't deny that Lin Ling was indeed a genius, but Lin Ling's background was also very ordinary. His experience shouldn't be this rich. You're really stupid. Lin Ling stopped walking, frowning. If I didn't rush over, do you think we could enter when the silver light shrouds the ancient tree? How long will it take for the silver light to disappear? Can you be sure? Idiot. Ah. Xian Linglong opened her mouth wide, unable to refute. Her eyes followed Lin Ling as he walked forward, her heart roared. No wonder Lin Ling was so impulsive, everything he did was for a reason. And she missed out on Lin Ling, thinking that Lin Ling was going to do something beastly to her. Moreover, she actually pretended to give pointers in front of Lin Ling. Thinking of this, Xian Linglong's face flushed red. You slapped me, you have to pay for it. At the same time, Lin Ling's voice drifted over, making Xian Linglong smile bitterly and nod her head. The two of them continued walking forward through the tree cave. This tree cave was big, but not deep. Walking forward, they could see the corpses of some ancient cultivators. They had passed away in a sitting posture, as if they had lived through countless years. There were some treasures scattered on the ground, but because too much time had passed, they had lost their luster. These should be the ancient cultivators of the ancient era. Xian Linglong looked at the ground, then curiously said, however, after reaching martial immortal realm, don't they have the same lifespan as the sun and moon? Why did they die of old age here? Having the same lifespan as the heavens and the earth is a relative term. After all, ancient cultivators are humans, not gods. In terms of life, they cannot compare to gods, they cannot compare to ancient species. Therefore, they can also die, it's just that their lifespan is very long. Lin Ling indifferently said. But why did they choose to die here? Xian Linglong asked again. In front of Lin Ling, she seemed to have become a student seeking knowledge. Because they wanted to become gods. Lin Ling smiled and said, all right, don't be greedy for those small things, the important matter is more important. I can already sense the great battle in the depths of the divine cave. But be careful, the opponent is very strong. Xian Linglong immediately warned. That's all there is to it. Lin Ling looked ahead, surging battle intent was boiling. After he had reached martial immortal realm, he had always wanted to test how strong he was with his full strength. Therefore, he hoped that those experts would not disappoint him. After saying those words, he walked forward with large strides. As for Xian Linglong, it was as if this was the first time she had seen Lin Ling looking at his slender back, her eyes were unceasingly flickering. Even now, she did not know whether Lin Ling had failed or succeeded in his breakthrough. At this moment, in the depths of the tree hole, an oppressive aura was pervading the air. All the experts were staring at the treasures in the tree hole. The most important among them was the essence of the Son of Heaven's fate. Of course, there were also many extraordinary treasures. For example, there was a fish-scale heavenly halberd, it was clearly a type of extreme weapon. Moreover, on some stone tables, ancient books covered in dust were placed there, they also appeared to be rare divine techniques. The 8 gods' heavenly palace was the divine palace of the 9 prefectures. The treasures here were not only precious to the Qingzhou martial artists, they were also extremely precious to the 9 prefectures' martial artists. Chapter 29-21. A battle between gods. The essence of the Son of Heaven's fate is covered by a layer of silver light. It will take some time to get it. Let's fight against the enemies. An anxious voice sounded. Everyone looked at the top of the tree hole. There was a mysterious white flower there. The flower was huge and there was a ray of light in the flower bud. It was said to be the essence of the Son of Heaven's fate. This secret was spread by someone not long ago. It was said that those who obtained the essence of the Son of Heaven's fate did not need to complete many tasks to obtain the Azure Emperor's imperial jade seal. After the news spread, the great Azure divine dynasty moved. All the giants wanted to obtain the Son of Heaven's fate. They even offered generous rewards to the heroes to help. Of course, some people suspected that the news was spread by the Azure Emperor. His goal was to let the giants fight against each other so that the Azure Emperor could reap the benefits. However, even if they knew that the news was spread by the Azure Emperor, they would not miss out on the mysterious essence of the Son of Heaven's fate. Who is the leader? Another voice rang out. It was a man in a red robe. He held a maple leaf in his hand and smelled it as he spoke. This man was called Feng Wang. He was a powerful cultivator at the 5th level of the martial immortal realm. He was an expert in the Azure and Tianzhou continents. To be able to travel freely in the 9 continents, there was no doubt about his strength. You don't have the right to ask that question. At this moment, a domineering voice sounded. A man looked forward with cold eyes. His long hair danced in the wind. He was unruly. Then, I have the right. Seeing that man speak, a young man walked out with a smile. 81st Prince, you have the right. The man immediately nodded. This made the expert called Feng Wang's face turn ugly. He said indifferently, 9 heavens of the Azure continent, Sakura, do you really think you're something? I've heard of your and Lin Ling's names. However, I also heard that your second brother Lin Ling has become a cripple. You want to shake my heart? You're too naive. As for my second brother, you don't have to worry. I've never worried about him. You should worry about yourself. The man laughed mockingly. He was Sakura. Your second brother Lin Ling is a cripple. Soon, you will be too. Feng Wang seemed to have shed all pretense of cordiality. Marquis Sovereign Marquis, 81st Prince, you really want to fight? At this moment, a man beside Indra spoke solemnly as he looked ahead. This person was 8th Lord Zhu. Red Jade Tiger of the martial gods Huangfuyu. Their side could be said to have as many experts as there were clouds. If they were to gather in Qingzhou, they would be able to shake Qingzhou. Of the other side. The Sovereign Marquis, the Thunderclap Matriarch, the Maple Monarch, and the 81st Prince, none of them were weak. Apart from them, there were also many experts from the Blue Flame Army. Every single one of them was a mid-martial immortal. Among them were the Demon Constellation C and the Divine Dynasty's Divine Guards. Especially those Divine Guards that were over 100 meters tall. Just looking at them was enough to make one feel suffocated. Marquis Immortals. They were the guardians of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty. It could be said that 1/3 of the elite experts of the 4 magnates were gathered here. If they join forces, we'll be in trouble. If they don't join forces, it'll be difficult for us to fight against the Marquis Sovereign Marquis. On Sakura's side, an old man analyzed the situation. He was Song Taizu, an existence like Mount Tai and Big Dipper in martial arts. The Taizu Divine Fist was created by him. Yes, but I don't think the Blue Flame Army will join forces casually. There are also a few people from the Left Minister's residence. They won't attack easily either. They're waiting to reap the benefits. Sakura secretly transmitted his voice. Their group had a big battle before and then stopped. They didn't want others to reap the benefits. So, they were all wasting time and each had their own ulterior motives. If we continue to waste time and let the magnates come, our situation will be unfavorable. We have more experts on our side. Why don't we attack? The Marquis Sovereign Marquis was also talking to the people behind him. He looked at the 81st Prince. This person was their leader. The 81st prince was very young. He was only 20 years old, but no one dared to underestimate him. He was also the one who fought with Lin Ling for the Qing Thearka's jade seal at the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. The third prince should have received the news. The same goes for the 99th prince. To prevent trouble, let's attack. Although the 81st prince was young, he was decisive and very straightforward. God of light. Rays of light shot out, illuminating the pitch-black cave. The 81st prince attacked. He floated in the air and shone brightly. One of the 100 great bloodlines, the God of Light bloodline. It said that the 81st prince's mother was an ancient descendant. Everyone's eyes lit up. 81st prince, let me see the strength of your 9 great heavenly gifts. Taizu Divine Fist. Seeing this, the old man beside Sakura stepped forward. A gust of ancient martial arts filled the air, and a seemingly simple punch was thrown out. But that punch contained 30% of the power of the universe. It was as if the fist ancestor attacked. Void distortion. The 81st prince controlled the strongest Tao of space. He actually twisted the space and dodged the punch. Moreover, he kicked out with a wide-open kick. Rumble. Song Taizu's expression changed. He wanted to block, but he was too slow. He was kicked by the terrifying kick and spat out blood. His expression became dispirited. Moreover, that kick was extremely terrifying. It actually kicked a deep groove in the tree hole as if it was a sword mark. Among the 9 great heavenly gifts of Qing province, the more low-key one is, the stronger one is. If that's the case, the 81st prince is probably ranked 5th among the 9 great heavenly gifts. Sakura, it's up to you. Song Taizu no longer dared to fight the 81st prince. He could only fight against the other giants. Feng Mantian. At this moment, the Maple King also took action. The surrounding space became multicolored with maple leaves fluttering in the air. Time seemed to have stopped. However, after the maple leaves blew past, everything was ignited. The ancient objects were immediately turned into ashes. Only the treasures were left untouched. Great Cosmos Sword. But on Sakura's side, a man attacked. The Sword of Cosmos. This was the head of the 9 great sword immortals of Qing province, the Cosmos Sword. His sword was very terrifying. It cut through the space of the Feng King and his maple leaves. Come and fight. The 2 powerhouses immediately clashed. Bone. At this moment, Sakura also attacked. He turned into a skeletal giant and waved his skeletal arms. His talent was obviously extraordinary. It was one of the 100 great bloodlines, the Nether God bloodline. There were many types of Nether God bloodlines, but they all came from the Nether realm. Sakura, I'll help you. At this moment, the Nether Chi filled the air. The divine tomb appeared and buried gods and demons. Chapter 29-22. They were not qualified. Meng Lu, after the sun bone fell, you've already become one of the 9 heavens of the Azure province. However, your position was given to you by Lin Ling. Don't you feel ashamed? Roar. An azure dragon was roaring, circling above the cave and speaking human language. It held a lightning umbrella and attacked Meng Lu. Azure Dragon King, you must feel good after being humiliated by me. Roar. Meng Lu also chose the Azure Dragon King as his opponent. In the huge tree hole, the strongest battlefield of the Azure province erupted. Various martial arts. One mysterious talent after another. Colorful displays. These experts and geniuses had endless pride and strength. When they clashed, it was like a battle between gods. On the other side of the tree hole, the Blue Flame Army and the Left Minister's residence did not attack. They had fewer people and naturally planned to reap the benefits. Moreover, they also saw that the essence of the Son of Heaven's fate was covered by the silver light. No one could get it now, so they were not in a hurry. As for the experts of the imperial court and the experts of the imperial court, they were fighting for other treasures. So strong, the imperial court is indeed full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Roar. However, seeing the experts of the imperial court moving out one after another, the people of the left minister's residence frowned. From the looks of the situation, the 81st prince's side is stronger. The 81st prince is not one of the 4 giants, but now he's helping the imperial court. How strange. Perhaps, he and the 99th prince have reached some agreement. The experts of the Blue Flame Army were also discussing. Thunder. Another explosion sounded. The thunder bamboo appeared, turning the cave into a pool of thunder. This was the Thunder Mother. Tiger roar. The Red Jade Tiger and Lord 8th joined forces to fight the Thunder Mother. This old woman had a strong background. In a one-on-one battle, they were not her match. Rumble. At this moment, Sakura was brandishing his giant skeletal fist, clashing head-on with the 81st Prince's light god bloodline. The two of them were fighting fiercely, from the east to the west of the tree hole. Some 4th-level martial immortals who got too close were directly shaken to death by their power. This halberd is mine. At this time, Sakura suddenly let out a roar. He actually grasped that mysterious halberd in the cave. The light of the extreme weapon blossomed, and that mysterious power once again raised Sakura's strength by a notch. Not good. Seeing this, the 81st Prince's expression changed slightly. Sakura wasn't weak in the first place among the 9 great heavens of Qing province. Now that he had obtained such a precious treasure, his strength had obviously surpassed him. He had to explode out with an even stronger trump card. The true God martial spirit has been unsealed, the 3rd seal. A blinding light instantly appeared, and all the martial artists in the cave were blinded. Their hearts were pounding like thunder. The 81st Prince had actually unlocked the 3rd seal of the true God martial spirit. My eyes. The dazzling rays of light made Sakura let out a painful cry. Those rays of light had the power of innate talent. They could shoot people, and they could even shoot people's eyes. Sovereign Cauldron, refined Qingzhou. At this time, the Sovereign Marquis, who had been silent all this time, also made his move. They had more people on their side, so they temporarily suppressed the experts on Sakura's side. Seeing that Sakura had obtained such a precious treasure and his strength had greatly increased, he had no choice but to make his move. A huge square ancient bronze cauldron suddenly appeared as if it had been summoned from Qingzhou. After it smashed into the tree hole, it caused the entire huge ancient tree to shake. The Cauldron of Qingzhou. Legend has it that this cauldron was personally refined by the Emperor Qing and was bestowed to the Sovereign Marquis. Everyone's expression changed drastically. They didn't expect the Sovereign Marquis to use his strongest move right away. Of course, everyone present was a godlike existence. Ordinary moves wouldn't be of much use. Rumble. A huge cauldron appeared around Sakura. The square cauldron actually surrounded him, and the lid of the cauldron was smashing down. Dream on. Sakura roared. The halberd in his hand was about to pierce through heaven and earth, causing the cauldron to creak. Even the Sovereign Marquis expression changed drastically. He and the 81st Prince joined forces, but they still couldn't suppress Sakura in one move. This guy was really ferocious. Suppress for me. The Sovereign Marquis roared angrily. He jumped up and slapped the lid of the cauldron with his palm. A terrifying power of realm essence gushed out and suppressed it. Ka ka ka. Sakura's bones immediately cracked as if they were about to shatter. Sakura. Someone roared angrily. A cloaked figure shot over like a shadow. Void, don't come over. Sensing that someone wanted to help him, Sakura also cried out in pain. The person who came was one of Grandma Wendao's people. The cloaked man void. / At this moment, a light appeared in front of the cloaked man void with his back facing him. With a wave of his hand, a light / appeared, causing the cloaked man's expression to change drastically. He turned into a shadow and disappeared. Although he avoided the danger, the hood of his cloak was also cut open, revealing a cold face. This cloaked man void was actually a woman. Moreover, she was a powerful woman. A small pawn has a small pawn's opponent. A general has a general's opponent. The person who attacked said faintly. His words were mixed with disdain. He was the 81st prince. In Qingzhou, he was the number 1 in the Tao of space. At this moment, the situation on the imperial court side was obviously getting weaker. At this moment, on the other side of the faraway tree hole, 2 figures appeared. It was Lin Ling and Xian Linglong. However, the battle in the tree hole caused their expressions to change. Especially Xian Linglong, her face was very pale because she could not withstand the power of the battle of the gods. She would die if she got close. Not good, Big Brother is in danger. At this moment, Lin Ling looked ahead indifferently. It's too late. Lin Ling, let's retreat. Xian Linglong instantly analyzed the situation. She knew that even if Lin Ling came, it would be useless because there were too many experts in the battle of the gods. They are not qualified. However, Lin Ling said coldly and his body disappeared instantly. Xian Linglong still wanted to say something, but her pupils suddenly trembled violently. Lin Ling was so fast. He probably surpassed the speed of 15 worlds. Could it be that when he rushed past the silver vines, Lin Ling did not use his full strength? At this moment, no one paid attention to the appearance of Lin Ling and Xian Linglong. The battle became even crazier. Qi Yuhu and the others were all roaring, worried about the Sakura. Thunder Sound Mother laughed. Now that the Sakura was defeated, Qi Yuhu and the others were no longer a threat. My destiny is to kill geniuses of the same age. You are the first person to die in my hands. At this moment, the 81st prince said faintly. He stepped into the sky and the power of space gushed out from his left foot. His right foot used the power of the god of light. It made his speed seem slow, but in an instant, he arrived in front of the huge skeleton. He stretched out his right hand, and his arm had already turned into a dazzling light, like a light blade. He jumped up and faced the skeleton of the Sakura, looking at him indifferently. Sakura, before you die, what do you have to say? The 81st prince spat out a sentence. Chapter 29-23. The Clash of the Kings of the 9 Great Heavens. Lin Ling is already crippled and you're dead. You 2 brothers are really disappointing. However, I have to say that Lin Ling was very powerful in the past. He defeated me once and was at least slightly more powerful than you. Of course, it was just a flash in the pan, the 81st prince said slowly. I won't die. Sakura finally opened his mouth. Hearing that, the 81st prince smiled. His smile was very relaxed. He shook his head lightly and said, I don't really believe it. Nope. After saying that, his hand slowly slashed out. The light was sharp as if it could cut through 10,000 worlds. The speed was very slow, but it caused the entire cave to fall silent. Sakura of the 9 Great Heavens of the Green State was an ambitious and ruthless character. He seemed to be low-key, but all the magnates knew that there was such a fierce person in the imperial court. He allowed the imperial court to gain a foothold in the Great Azure God dynasty and no one dared to underestimate him. But now, this fierce person was about to fall. Dead. Nope. Someone said coldly. However, at this moment, an arm suddenly appeared in the sky as if it came from the void. It suddenly grabbed the arm of the 81st prince. Bang! At the moment of collision, a terrifying shockwave exploded in the sky. The entire tree cave was on the verge of collapse. That's right, he won't die. Nope. A chuckle could also be heard. Everyone saw a blue-robed youth appearing beside the huge white bones of the Sakra Emperor. He was resisting the arm of the 81st prince, as if they were kings fighting. Boom! 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 The two arms collided and two mysterious forces continued to collide. It was as if time had stopped. Lin Ling? Many people saw who it was and were shocked. Lin Ling's name was known to everyone in the Great Azure God dynasty. He was the most monstrous genius in the Green State. His speed of growth was also the fastest in the history of the Great Azure God dynasty. Didn't he fail to break through? Moreover, even if he had not failed to break through, he should not have been able to withstand the light god bloodline of the 81st prince. 81st Crown Prince's mother is an ancient remnant. Back then, Emperor Qing forcefully kidnapped her in order to obtain the power in her body. Later on, she gave birth to the 81st Crown Prince. However, the 81st Crown Prince's mother has always refused to admit that she is Emperor Qing's woman. Therefore, the 81st Crown Prince is only in name but not in reality. He is not considered Emperor Qing's successor. That is how he became one of the 9 great heavens of Qingzhou. Someone said solemnly. If Lin Ling was the most devilish genius in Qing province, then the 80th prince would be a peerless genius because he was only in his 20s. Lin Ling will never be able to stop the 81st prince. The experts of the Imperial Censor Dragon Court said coldly. Second brother. At the same time, Sakra also looked at the young man floating in front of him. He had previously said that he would not die, but his second brother had arrived and blocked the light blade of the 81st prince, saving him. This made him excited and happy. As for the people of the Imperial Court, they were all overjoyed. Qi Yuhu, Lord 8th, Huang Fuidao, and the others were all smiling. It was as if they had seen the arrival of their backbone. Especially the cloaked person, Su. Her expression was extremely complicated. In the past, she had saved Lin Ling twice. At that time, Lin Ling was like a junior to her. However, now, Lin Ling could fight against an expert that she could not fight against. No wonder Grandma Wen Dao said that one should never underestimate Lin Ling. This guy was even more terrifying than Emperor Qing. Ka. At that moment, the 81st prince maintained his swinging right arm. On his arm, there was a palm pressing down, blocking his attack and preventing him from moving an inch. His eyes were looking at the young man in front of him. You're stopping me? The 81st prince spat out. In the rumors, Lin Ling had failed to break through. However, from the looks of it, even if Lin Ling had failed, his combat strength was still terrifying. You want to kill my big brother? Do you think I can't stop you? Lin Ling said as he looked down at the 81st prince from above. Lin Ling, I don't want to be your enemy. However, I have my own mission. Therefore, I must kill your big brother. Back then, I lost the battle for the Emperor Qing's jade seal at the Copper Sparrow Pavilion. That made me realize that you're an extraordinary person. However, this time, I'm going to win. The 81st prince's long hair danced wildly. His ferocious realm essence surged like a tide. In the past, in order to enter the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, he had suppressed his cultivation to the true god realm. After that, he crazily broke through. Now, he was at the 3rd level of the martial immortal realm. His combat strength was so strong that he could fight against a 6th level martial immortal. Young man, it's better to be respectful when meeting a senior. Lin Ling chuckled and spoke as well. His tone was calm. This stunned the 81st prince. young man? However, with his age, he was indeed a young man in Lin Ling's eyes. The people from the Imperial Censor Dragon Court were furious. The son of the Emperor Qing was being called a young man by Lin Ling. Did Lin Ling think he was an old monster? Respect or not, it depends on strength. The silver light on the 81st Prince's arm shone brightly, blinding everyone once again. You can't stop me. His light god innate skill also erupted, causing the tree hole to tremble, and the ancient bark continued to explode. Young man, you're still too inexperienced. What was terrifying was that the 81st Prince's light god bloodline could not affect Lin Ling's eyes. Moreover, Lin Ling shouted coldly and the power of 80 realms burst out. Rumble. After the realm-swallowing beast's power burst out, a figure flew out and crashed into a tree wall in the distance. Although he was not injured, his face was filled with fear. The crowd also looked at the figure that was sent flying, and all of them fell silent. Because that was the 81st Prince. This time, everyone looked at the blue-robed figure in the sky in horror. Their faces were filled with disbelief. From their point of view, even if Lin Ling did not fail to break through, he should not be a match for the 81st Prince. However, in the Battle of the Kings of the Nine Heavens, Lin Ling defeated the 81st Prince. He's so powerful. Lin Ling is indeed one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. Far away, Xian Linglong's expression was also very interesting. Her mouth was opened so wide that she could swallow a duck egg. No wonder Lin Ling was so arrogant. His strength was beyond her imagination. Then, she thought of her attitude towards Lin Ling and could not help but laugh bitterly. Lin Ling, die. At this time, a roar was heard. It was like the Emperor Qing's imperial edict. In the sky, the lid of the giant cauldron smashed down on Lin Ling. Rumble. Lin Ling was smashed into the ground and sealed in the ancient bronze cauldron. The sun, moon, stars, ancient lakes, mountains, and rivers also appeared and were refined in the ancient cauldron. According to legend, this cauldron was made by the Emperor Qing on the first day of his ascension to the throne in order to suppress the 8 barren lands of Qingzhou. Therefore, the sovereign marquis had another title, the sovereign marquis. Phew. At this moment, the sovereign marquis was breathing heavily. His eyes were extremely serious as if he had defeated a great enemy. Not long ago, he heard that Lin Ling had failed to break through. He was very happy, very happy. However, after seeing Lin Ling, he realized how crazy Lin Ling was. He was so fierce even after failing to break through. Could this guy be the descendant of a god? Chapter 29-24. Punch the Azure Dragon. Boom. However, just as he thought about it, a huge mouth appeared, swallowing the heavens and the earth. The lid of the cauldron exploded, and a figure shot out like a cannonball, holding the lid of the cauldron and pouncing towards the sovereign marquis. Is that all you've got? The lid of the huge cauldron was like a mountain. Lin Ling held it and smashed it towards the sovereign marquis. The sovereign marquis couldn't react in time. He spat out blood and was sent flying. Everyone looked at the valiant general who had the strength to pull up mountains and rivers. They were all shocked. Lin Ling actually rushed out of the Azure Thearka's cauldron and ignored this divine item as a casual weapon to fight against the sovereign marquis? I always thought that there were many valiant generals in the imperial court, like Di Shi Tian and the others. But now, I realize that Lin Ling is the 3rd prince's right hand. An old man from the left minister's palace said solemnly. General of the imperial court, Lin Ling. This voice resounded in the hearts of the magnates. It could be said that after the short confrontation, Lin Ling's status in the hearts of the magnates had risen infinitely. He was now a magnate that could not be underestimated. Big brother, are you all right? After sending the sovereign marquis flying, Lin Ling didn't follow up with another attack. With the lid of the ancient cauldron in his hand, he walked toward Sakura step by step, completely ignoring all the powerhouses. Bang! Along the way, he waved the lid of the ancient cauldron a few times. As if he felt that the cauldron's lid was uncomfortable, he punched out and directly smashed the lid of the ancient cauldron apart. Most importantly, everyone saw that fist didn't contain world essence power, nor did it contain universal power. It was just an extremely ordinary fist. This guy is simply a ferocious beast. At this moment, everyone was moved. The powerhouses in the tree hole didn't dare to rashly make a move. They were deeply afraid that a slight move would affect the entire situation. They didn't think that Lin Ling's arrival would cause such a huge reaction. It's fine. Sakura recovered his true body and looked at Lin Ling excitedly. Lord Eighth and the others were the same. Now, they had to look up to Lin Ling. That's great. Lin Ling smiled calmly as he looked at the treasures on the ground. Finally, his gaze fell on a few sets of books. He ignored the crowd and walked forward. He picked up the books and started reading. Not bad. Ancient Divine Book, 7th Grade Earth Divine Skill, Great Earth Technique. Which one of you is an Earth Elemental Warrior? He put away the book and looked at Lord Eighth and the others. The Sovereign Marquis and the others stood in the distance, their expressions extremely ugly. They had been fighting over the treasures, but after Lin Ling arrived, he snatched the treasures and ignored them. Your Excellency Lin Ling, give it to me. Song Taizu immediately said, letting Lin Ling throw out the ancient divine book. This divine book was left behind by an ancient martial art practitioner who had cultivated here in the past. In Qingzhou, it was priceless. Unfortunately, it was of little use to Lin Ling. He threw the sets of ancient books to the people of the imperial court. During the entire process, he was indeed ignoring the people of the major powers. Lin Ling, don't go too far. Don't you think you're too arrogant and despotic? Sigh. It was the Azure Dragon King. He hovered on the ground, the head of the Azure Dragon rising high as if he was looking down on the common people. Hearing this, Lin Ling slowly turned around and looked at the Azure Dragon King calmly. The Azure Dragon King also looked at him fearlessly. He opened his mouth wide, revealing his fangs. Hee hee. Sigh. Lin Ling suddenly laughed. In the next moment, he disappeared on the spot. In mid-air, a vine appeared and lashed down like a whip. Azure Dragon King, be careful. Sigh. Seeing this, the Sovereign Marquis immediately shouted. He didn't expect Lin Ling to attack just like that. Lin Ling, you're courting death. Sigh. The Azure Dragon King also let out a furious roar. His huge dragon body swam, but when the whip landed, his bloodline seemed to be sealed, and his strength was greatly reduced. That vine was little Kunlun. The Azure Dragon King immediately panicked. Last time, he had suffered a loss from this mysterious vine. Moreover, compared to last time, this vine seemed to be even more powerful. At the same time, Lin Ling's fierce punch arrived, as if an ancient beast was roaring. Dragon Tail! Dragon Tail! At the crucial moment, the Azure Dragon King's huge dragon tail swung, blocking Lin Ling's sudden punch. His dragon tail could easily break through 30 worlds. However, Lin Ling's was the power of 80 worlds. Pop pop pop. Under the punch, the dragon tail seemed to have been hit by a meteor. Dragon scales splattered everywhere, and the huge dragon tail was actually smashed by the punch. Boom boom boom. Moreover, this was not the end. Lin Ling's fist was still smashing out like a meteor, entangling the Azure Dragon King, causing dust to fly everywhere. Broken tree bark also continuously fell from the cave ceiling. It was terrifying. After a dozen breaths, the rumbling finally stopped. Everyone saw that the huge Azure Dragon King, the lord of the four-ringed city, was actually beaten to death by Lin Ling's fist. Punching the Azure Dragon. This result was undoubtedly more terrifying than the battle between the 81st Prince and the other two. Everyone's faces were filled with shock. One must know that when one reached the strength of a magnate, it was very rare for them to die. Their vitality was extremely tenacious. However, Lin Ling used his fist to kill the Azure Dragon King in front of everyone. Of course, the Azure Dragon King must have been careless. The Azure Dragon King knew that Lin Ling was very strong, but he didn't believe that Lin Ling had the strength to kill him. In addition, the little Kunlun had caught him off guard. Even so, the Azure Dragon King was the lord of the four-ringed city, and his lifespan was endless. No one had ever thought that he would die here. And this was also the first powerful magnate to fall in the battle of the gods. Bang! At the same time, the sovereign marquis arrived and stood a dozen meters away from Lin Ling. He originally wanted to help the Azure Dragon King, but now he did not dare to move. His gaze was constantly flickering, and it was extremely serious. I'm arrogant, I'm domineering, so what? Bang! Lin Ling waved his fist and said calmly as if he was talking about the most normal thing. Everyone here had a grudge with him, so Lin Ling did not need to give any face. Hearing that sentence, everyone fell silent. The terrifying scene of punching the Azure Dragon King was still circulating in their minds. Sovereign Marquis, you want to save the Azure Dragon King? You're too late. Bang! Lin Ling turned his head and looked at the Sovereign Marquis. His words made the latter clench his teeth tightly. Lin Ling was provoking him, telling him that he would kill the Azure Dragon King just like that. What could he do about it? However, the Sovereign Marquis did not dare to move. Even his breathing had become much heavier. In the distance, the 81st Prince's eyes were fixed. He had not made a move all this time because he wanted to see Lin Ling's powerful means. Now, he was sure that Lin Ling's physical body had become so terrifying that he did not look like a human at all. Instead, he looked like a species left behind from the ancient era, a mythical beast or something like that. Even a dragon is not as fierce as him. The 81st Prince muttered to himself. In fact, during the trip to the Copper Sparrow Pavilion, he already knew that Lin Ling could not be underestimated. Now, he was even more certain of his guess. For a moment, the tree hole was even quieter. Lin Ling collected the treasures around him and looked at the top of the tree. There was a white bud there, and the bud contained a ray of light. It must be the Emperor's life essence. Moreover, he also saw that everyone's eyes were fixed on the Emperor's life essence. Chapter 29-25. The four magnates had arrived. This treasure is mine. Lin Ling looked at the crowd and spoke calmly, as if the treasure belonged to Lin Ling in the first place. As soon as his domineering words fell, the faces of all the experts turned ugly. Lin Ling was too arrogant. However, they were a little afraid of Lin Ling in a one-on-one battle. Unless all of them worked together, they wouldn't be able to suppress Lin Ling and the imperial dynasty. For a moment, each of them had their own ulterior motives and continued to maintain their silence. Bang bang bang. However, not long after, there was a sudden rumbling sound, as if the heavens and earth were collapsing. The entire tree began to sway, as if there was an expert outside the tree that was attacking the divine tree. All of them had sharp eyes and they quickly looked around. Immediately, they realized that there were many experts gathered around the divine tree. It turned out that the four magnates had arrived. The third prince of the imperial court. The 99th prince of the imperial court. The army of Blue Flame, the prime minister of the divine dynasty. Left minister's residence, Lord Left Minister. They had brought all the experts here to attack the divine tree. Sir, they're here. Seeing this, the people in the tree hole were overjoyed. Not good, the magnates are here. It's hard to tell who will get the Emperor's life essence. Lord Eighth immediately looked worried. Judging from the current situation, Lin Ling's arrival had boosted the imperial court's prestige. They had the highest chance of obtaining the Emperor's life essence. However, if the magnate Qi practitioners outside the tree rushed in, everything would be uncertain. Lin Ling, you've wasted your efforts. Another joyful voice came from the tree hole. It was Lei Yin Crone. At this moment, she was extremely proud of herself. Obviously, when she saw Lin Ling commanding the wind and clouds, she was under a lot of pressure. Now that she saw Lin Ling's plan being disrupted, she was naturally very happy. Of course, the other magnates were laughing coldly as well. It seems that you are very happy, but don't be happy too early. They may not be able to help you. However, at this time, Lin Ling sneered. As soon as he said this, everyone frowned. Apparently, Mother Lei Yin didn't believe Lin Ling's words. She shook her head and said, Lin Ling, don't bewitch us. We won't be fooled. Indeed, you won't fall for it because you're all idiots. Lin Ling shrugged and pointed outside the tree hole. Open your dog eyes and see if they can come in. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone looked outside the tree hole. Only then did they realize that the tree hole was enveloped by a layer of mysterious silver light. The attacks of the various experts were utterly unable to break through that layer of silver light. This time, there was no one who wasn't shocked. Even Sakura was the same. He looked at Lin Ling and said, Second brother, what is this? One had to know that before they entered the tree hole, there was no silver light sealing the tree hole. The sap of this tree, even the flower bud on top of the head, has been sealed by this silver light. There are no more than 5 people in Qingzhou who can break through this silver light. Lin Ling said with a faint smile. This means that they can't come in. The essence of the Emperor's life can only appear in our group. Hearing this, Sakura couldn't help but laugh. As for Mother Lei Yin and the others, their pupils constricted and their expressions were unusually ugly. It was as if the treasure that they had just obtained had been snatched away by someone else. That kind of ruthlessness was indescribable. Their eyes were fixed on Lin Ling as if it was the first time they had met Lin Ling. Because, how did Lin Ling know about this item of the 8 gods' heavenly palace? Are you all here? At this moment, a voice came from outside the tree hole. 99th Prince, we are here. Someone replied immediately. Seize the essence of the Emperor's life. Imperial Censor Dragon Court will reward you handsomely. Good. After receiving the order, the experts in the tree hole knew that they had to fight for their lives. Is Sakura here? The voice of the 3rd Prince of the Imperial Court floated in at this moment. I'm here, and Lin Ling is here too. Sakura replied immediately, which made the 3rd Prince, who was outside the tree hole, change his expression. Wasn't Lin Ling on the 3rd level? Why was he on the 4th level too? Is this guy messing around? The 3rd Prince couldn't help but be angry. There was definitely going to be an earth-shattering battle in the tree hole. With Lin Ling's strength, he definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. If he was injured, how would he explain it to Grandma Wen Dao? Don't worry, this guy isn't weak. Sakura seemed to know the 3rd Prince's worries and suddenly said. Then, he secretly transmitted Lin Ling's magnificent feat in the cave to the 3rd Prince. It appeared in a jade token in the 3rd Prince's hand. 3rd Prince, you don't have to worry about me. At the same time, Lin Ling's voice floated out of the tree hole. Lin Ling. After hearing that voice, the eyes of the 99th Prince and the other magnates flickered slightly. Among them, a disdainful voice floated out, Lin Ling? What a piece of trash. When the battle starts later, the first one to kill him will be heavily rewarded. The one who spoke was the 76th Prince. When he entered the Eight Gods' heavenly palace, he was played by Lin Ling, so he hated Lin Ling to the core. However, the experts in the tree hole shook their heads. Although they also wanted to kill Lin Ling wasn't someone who could be killed so easily. The 76th prince probably didn't know this at all. Hee, you should be the 76th prince. Hee, you should be the 76th prince, right? I'm sorry, but you sent someone to follow me because you wanted to be an ingrate. Unfortunately, you became a watchdog. That guy is dead now, and the 99th prince. The dragon hall you sent also died on the 3rd floor. Please, the next time you send someone to follow me, at least send someone smarter. Also, Luo Xiaofan, I caught him. Lin Ling's voice floated out again. Hearing this, the faces of the magnates turned ugly. Lin Ling was too arrogant. I underestimated you. However, you have to be careful later. The 99th prince said coldly. He also heard the message from the people in the tree hole and knew that Lin Ling had killed the Azure Dragon King. His strength wasn't to be underestimated. Even the 3rd prince gradually learned about what happened. While she was shocked, she also warned, Lin Ling, be careful. You must obtain the essence of the emperor's life. The imperial court will reward you handsomely. However, just as she finished speaking, the minister of the left also said, why don't the 3 of us work together to eliminate the imperial court in the tree hole? Then, the 3 of us can compete for the emperor's life. Dream on. My blue flame army will never work with you. Prime Minister, if you don't obtain the essence of the emperor's life, the person behind you will kill you. I think this is a good suggestion because the imperial court in the tree hole is stronger. If the 3 magnates don't work together, the essence of the emperor's life will be taken away by them. The leaders of the magnates discussed among themselves and nodded in agreement. Moreover, they didn't try to hide anything from the 3rd prince. The 3rd prince's expression changed drastically when he heard this. Chapter 29-26. The War God Guards. Lin Ling, be careful. Just do your best. The 3rd prince couldn't help much at this moment. All hope was on Lin Ling and the others. She also ordered people to attack the silver light again, but it was useless. Lin Ling, you are very arrogant. I want to see how you die later. After reaching an agreement, the 99th prince sneered. He wanted Lin Ling dead the most out of all the magnates. The minister of the left and the others also wanted Lin Ling dead, but their desire wasn't as strong as his. The situation was getting worse for the imperial court. However, at this moment, a smile was heard. It was Lin Ling's voice. Facing the top experts of the great Qing divine dynasty, he was still calm. Just this bit of strength? To be honest, they are not enough for me, Lin Ling. When this voice floated out, not only inside the tree hole, but also outside the tree hole, there was complete silence. Lin Ling was so arrogant. It was undeniable that Lin Ling was indeed very powerful. He was still one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. However, the people in the tree hole weren't weak either. If they joined forces, how could Lin Ling win? Lin Ling, you're probably bragging. Remember, whoever kills Lin Ling will be heavily rewarded. I want to see how powerful this braggart is and how he became one of the 9 heavens of Qingzhou. After a moment of silence, the 76th prince was the first to speak. He was laughing very happily. Alright, everyone listen to my orders. Kill Lin Ling first. The 99th prince also laughed. He wasn't stupid and knew that Lin Ling was bluffing. He wanted to scare the experts in the tree hole. However, such a small trick couldn't be hidden from the emperor. This guy. The 3rd prince frowned. Now that the imperial court was weak, she wanted to let Lin Ling appear weak. Then, after the experts obtained the Emperor's life essence, she would attack at the crucial moment and catch them off guard. However, who knew that Lin Ling would be so arrogant? Wouldn't this incite public anger? Third Prince, I know you're worried about me, but you're underestimating me, Lin Ling. Some things can't be judged on the surface. At this time, Lin Ling's voice floated out again, sounding calm and relaxed. If you don't look at the surface, then what do you look at? Lin Ling, things have already come to this point. Stop messing around. The third prince was speechless. She recalled Grandma Wen Dao's suggestion to her to acknowledge Lin Ling as her master. In the past, she was 100 times unwilling to accept this idea. Now, she was 120 times unwilling. My world is not something you can understand. Lin Ling's voice became faintly discernible, but it was mixed with a strong sense of confidence. Hearing this, the third prince slapped his forehead. He was speechless. The magnates outside the tree hole laughed out loud. Inside the tree hole, the sovereign marquis and the rest also sneered. Of course, their laughter was not very arrogant. After all, no matter how mysterious Lin Ling was, he was still one of the 9 elites. Sir, the silver light of the flower bud in the tree hole is starting to dissipate. Suddenly, one of them spoke. This voice seemed to have lit a fuse. Whether it was outside the tree hole or inside the tree hole, all the elites' faces turned serious. The battle of the gods that had been interrupted earlier had obviously started again. Attack! The 99th prince could not be bothered with Lin Ling. At this moment, he waved his hand coldly. A great battle was about to break out. Inside the tree hole, the terrifying divine guards took a step forward. With a destructive force, they took the initiative to attack Lin Ling. They obviously knew that Lin Ling was the flag of the imperial dynasty. If Lin Ling was defeated, the imperial dynasty would at least lose an arm. Fight! The Sakra roared and transformed into a huge white bone giant. It was as if he was going to burst the tree hole. Big brother, all of you guard the essence of the Emperor's life. Kill anyone who comes close. At this moment, Lin Ling's cold voice sounded. Everyone in the imperial dynasty was stunned. Let me fight them. Then, Lin Ling's next sentence made them gasp. Lin Ling wanted to fight these elites? Do as I say. Don't let the villains steal the essence of the Emperor's life. While the Sakra and the rest were in disbelief, Lin Ling reminded them again. Okay, 8th Lord, everyone follow me. The Sakra did not agree at first, but when he thought of the years when he and Lin Ling swept through the storms in the sacred rainforest, he finally nodded. Swoosh! 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 Many figures appeared under the flower bud and stood guard there. The 3 magnates in the tree hole looked at the flower bud. Seeing that the silver light outside the flower bud still needed some time to recede, they were not in a hurry. Instead, they sneered at Lin Ling. Divine guards, go and kill him. Let him experience the might of the divine guards. Someone said coldly. Bang! 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 The deafening sound shook the tree hole. The divine guards of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty were the personal guards of the Azure Emperor. Each of them was extremely terrifying. They could kill early-stage martial immortals as easily as killing chickens and dogs. Lin Ling also moved. With the speed of 15 worlds, he rushed toward the divine guards and punched out. Bang! One of the divine guards also attacked and collided with Lin Ling. It was as if 2 ferocious beasts were roaring at each other. However, Lin Ling's fist was obviously stronger than the divine guards. Cracks appeared on the divine guard's arm. Boom! Boom! However, more divine guards had also arrived. They hurriedly launched divine punches that could destroy stars and shatter worlds, smashing into Lin Ling's body. Puff! Lin Ling immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. However, the more injured he was, the crazier he became. He waved his fists as if he was holding the world in his hands. Whoosh! As soon as he attacked, cracks appeared on the divine guards and they exploded. So fierce! The experts outside the tree hole stared into the tree hole through the silver light. It was the first time they had seen Lin Ling attack. They were all shocked. Was Lin Ling still human? He was simply the king of the divine guards. Lin Ling summoned the realm-devouring beast and his rank 10 divine body descended. His ferocious aura was even more powerful. He blocked the attacks of the remaining divine guards and even killed a few divine guards with one punch. He was so powerful. At this moment, even if they were in the enemy camp, many people had to admit that Lin Ling was indeed a genius. Because no one had ever failed a breakthrough and still had such powerful strength. Luo Xia was defeated by Lin Ling with one punch. It seems that it is true. 99 Crown Prince thought. Fortunately, although Lin Ling had the strength to move mountains and rivers, his future achievements were only so. This made 99 Crown Prince relax. Rumble. Huge chunks of flesh fell. Lin Ling defeated the divine guards. At the same time, a cold laugh floated out, the divine guards have experienced it. They are only so. Kill him. The experts who were walking over from afar also made their move. Lin Ling was too ferocious. Everyone had to work together to get rid of him. An old man from the left minister's palace made his move. A black book appeared in his hand, and he kept chanting, forming a black gas that spread out. His clothes immediately turned into nothingness, revealing his tall and sturdy body. His entire body became pitch black, and the luster was dazzling, as if he was a black diamond. God of War Scroll, invincible. Chapter 29-27. Fight against this group of heroes. Alright, the 100 Books Elder has made his move. He has an Earth Elemental innate talent, cultivated the God of War Scroll, and has 40% of the power of the universe. He has also cultivated the invincible black adamantine body. Sounds of surprise came from the crowd. The 100 Books Elder was also the Great Azure Divine Dynasty's martial arts recorder. Many of the martial arts manuals in the 3 big academies came from him. Brat, you can't stop all of us by yourself. The old man maintained his punching posture as he looked at Lin Ling and said. Lin Ling's eyes flickered. This was the first time someone had dared to go head-to-head with him. This old man's martial arts were very strong. Again. Lin Ling punched again. His expression was solemn and holy, but he also revealed his ferocity. Bang bang bang. The two of them exchanged a few punches. Their strength was so great that it could break through a myriad of mountains. However, the old man was still unscathed. He smiled and said, I don't believe you can block many of my punches. Let me tell you, once I use this technique, I will beat my opponent into mincemeat. His voice was kind and even doting, but his words were vicious. You can try. The more Lin Ling fought, the fiercer he became. However, he discovered that the old man was simply invincible. He could not shake the old man at all. Boom! Instead, his chest was penetrated by the old man's fist, and his body flew backward. All right. Everyone was immediately overjoyed. That joyful appearance was as if they had obtained a rare treasure. The old man took advantage of his victory to pursue and attack. He brandished his black Vajra fist and appeared above Lin Ling's head, smashing down like a storm. Previously, Lin Ling had smashed the Azure Dragon King to death. Now, he wanted to smash Lin Ling to death. How terrifying. As expected of the black diamond body. I'm afraid this Lin Ling will be smashed into meat paste. Both inside and outside the tree hole, the various powerhouses exclaimed in shock. Even the 81st prince's expression was solemn. He did not dare to take the elder's punch lightly. He's dead. The old man punched hundreds of millions of times consecutively, creating a huge crater in the hard ground. Then, he leaped up and floated in the sky, looking majestic. Looking at his fists, they were now covered in blood. This was Lin Ling's blood. Lin Ling. Outside the tree Lord Third Prince, Prince Third Prince. Lin Ling whoosh. At that moment, a meteor shot book star Lin Ling, and Lin Ling, Lin Ling Lin Ling Li Lin. At this moment, he was covered in blood, but his battle intent was still boiling. He ferociously threw a punch at the old man. What? The elder's expression changed drastically. Lin Ling was not dead. His fists Lu Lin Dragon Lin of the Lin Pht. At that moment, Lin Ling's punch arrived. However, the old man was not afraid at all because Lin Ling could not shake his black diamond body. However, Lin Ling's punch landed on the sole of his foot, and the old man's expression changed drastically. How impressive is that? So it's a cultivation technique with a loophole. Lin Ling's voice floated out at the same time. The old man's burly body seemed to deflate and started to shrink. He actually turned into an old man the size of a 6-year-old child. His cultivation technique had been broken. His God of War scroll was extremely heaven-defying. Its defense and attack were powerful, but it had a fatal flaw. It was his Achilles heel. However, ordinary people did not know about this flaw, but Lin Ling had found his Achilles heel after fighting with him. Impossible, impossible. How did you know my Achilles heel? The old man kept shaking his head. There's nothing in this world that I don't know. Lin Ling stepped forward. The injuries on his body were quickly recovering. He did not fight with the old man for nothing. His demonic eyes of all things were also searching for the old man's weakness. After all, the old man's bloodline was not strong, but his physical body was so terrifying. This was impossible. Take Lin Ling for example. His physical body was strong because he had swallowed the seawater heart flower. Everyone, attack. We must save the 100 Books elder. Seeing the childlike old man, even more experts attacked. The thunderclap mother turned into a thunderclap bamboo and attacked Lin Ling with the force of a thunderbolt. However, Lin Ling turned a blind eye to it. He rushed into the lightning pool and appeared in front of the old man. The old man kept shaking his head. No, no, don't kill me. I will beat you into a pulp. Lin Ling smiled gently. Just like the old man before, he looked calm but his words were extremely fierce. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, he immediately attacked. Behind him, tens of thousands of lightning bolts attacked him, but he turned a blind eye to it. Qingzhou Divine Cauldron. Seeing this, the sovereign marquis also used his trump card. He wanted to use this opportunity to kill Lin Ling. Even the 81st prince, after thinking for a while, continuously kicked out a large number of light legs. The entire cave seemed to be about to collapse at this moment. In the end, the battle of the gods had developed into Lin Ling fighting against the gods alone. Even the experts outside the tree hole had grave expressions on their faces. Lin Ling was so fierce. Even if he died, he would be able to leave behind good words in the great Qing divine dynasty. What a terrifying person. His physical body is invincible. The 99th prince and the others also said solemnly. However, they did not feel much pressure. Although Lin Ling's defense was very strong, his future was limited and he could not reach the great Tao. Now that he was facing the siege of so many experts, he had a slim chance of survival. This guy is too arrogant. If he had asked Sakura and the others for help, the outcome would definitely not have been like this. The third prince also frowned and kept shaking his head. Second brother, let us help you. Sakura and the others watched as the power to destroy everything gathered on Lin Ling. They planned to give up the Emperor's life essence and help Lin Ling. Don't come over. They can't touch me. However, at this moment, a firm voice floated out. A figure stood up with difficulty amidst the fierce power. Below him was a pile of mud. The 100-book-old man had indeed been beaten into a pulp by Lin Ling. Can't touch you? Look at you now. You can't even stand up now. Someone shouted ferociously. He wanted to kill Lin Ling because the current Lin Ling gave them a terrifying feeling. He was like the son of the devil god, immortal and indestructible. The others were also in a frenzy as they continued to attack Lin Ling. However, Lin Ling still stood up straight. His body was covered in blood and the sound of bones breaking could be heard. Even the realm-devouring beast behind him had dimmed a lot. However, he still stood up straight. Is this all you've got? A disdainful voice also floated out. This undoubtedly infuriated the magnates. Lin Ling actually dared to be so stubborn in front of the joint forces of the three magnates. Get down! An expert roared and withdrew his palms. The rolling heavenly river also suppressed down. This person was a level 4 martial immortal expert with a level 7 divine body. He was not weak at all. Too weak. However, Lin Ling still raised his head. On the surface of his body, flames finally appeared. Chapter 29-28. Famous in Qingzhou, Lin Ling, don't go too far. Everyone was infuriated, and their attacks became even more terrifying. However, the destructive power had less and less effect on Lin Ling. Because the flames began to boil. You heroes, I'll fight you with all my strength. Bang! Boom! Finally, the flames exploded, and the martial immortal realm's world essence surged. Evil flame changes final change, heaven and earth change. He didn't fail to break through, he's at the first level of the martial immortal realm. My God! My God, he was already at the World King realm, and now he's at the martial immortal realm. Bang! We've all been fooled by him. Bang! The experts who attacked all changed their expressions. Outside the tree hole, there was a deathly silence. They all saw Lin Ling's ferocity, but they comforted themselves that Lin Ling would only be so in the future. But now, Lin Ling told them that it was just a warm-up, and that he was at the martial immortal realm, not the World King realm. Just a warm-up, and he can fight with all the heroes. What if he goes all out? The 76th prince's face was extremely pale, and even the 99th prince's pupils constricted, and he kept shouting in his heart, kill him, kill him. Flame coffin. Bang! Almost at the same time, the world-destroying flame coffin began to descend from the sky, and the colorful flames made the tree hole colorful. Lin Ling merged his three dantians together, and in addition to his ferocious physical body, his aura was vast and mighty. Boom! He rushed out of the attacks of the heroes, and rushed into the sky, bringing with him the roar of the sea. The scorching flames and ferocious aura fused, and his fist began to turn into a flaming fist. With a bang, a 4th-level martial immortal expert's body trembled, and he looked down, and his chest was penetrated. He roared in disbelief, You! He only said one word, and his body exploded. Heroes, it's my turn to attack. Bang! Lin Ling sneered, and as if he was stirring up the wind and clouds of the great Azure Divine Dynasty, he pounced on another person, and his fist broke through 10,000 techniques. Not to mention an early martial immortal, even a mid-martial immortal couldn't block his fist. Rumble. At the same time, the flaming coffin in the sky smashed down. Although it only had 10% of the power of the universe, the power of the world was extremely terrifying. All the early-stage martial immortals were killed. How could this be? Both inside and outside the tree hole, there were no mid-stage martial immortals. All of them were shouting loudly as their bodies convulsed. Some of them even fell limply to the ground. They watched as Lin Ling, who was like the son of a demon god, slaughtered the top heroes of the Great Azure Divine Dynasty as if he were cutting vegetables and melons. Their hearts were shaken. Without a doubt, the Great Azure Divine Dynasty had changed. The name of the imperial court Lin Ling had spread throughout Azure State. 81st Prince, it's up to you. Thunderclap Crone and the rest were terrified. They could only look forward to the 81st Prince. One of the 100 great bloodlines, the Light God bloodline, was definitely worthy of its reputation. The 81st Prince's youthful face was solemn, extremely solemn. Among the 9 great heavens of Azure State, other than the most mysterious 4, the rest were nothing to worry about. The stronger one was only Di Shi Tian, but now there was one more person, Lin Ling. He felt like he was in a dream. He was even recalling everything about Lin Ling in his mind. However, Lin Ling seemed to have been born out of thin air. He didn't have any reputation before, but once he became famous, he became unstoppable. Lin Ling, I'll fight you. The 81st Prince walked out, his whole body shining brightly as he chanted, "Combine and return to the origin, righteous and righteous, evil and evil, righteous and righteous," ghostly howls towards the heavens, turbidity and light, chaos and impurity, life and death oblivion. A large amount of chi and blood spread out from the top of his head. The blood carried a dazzling light. He had pushed his talent to the peak. It was a peak divine body. This was the bloodline that his mother had left for him. The Light God bloodline, in the hierarchy of life, was superior to all living things. Just like Lin Ling, his realm-swallowing beast talent had reached the 10th grade divine body. Its life hierarchy surpassed all living things and could resist a large number of attacks. It was as if he was a peerless expert created by the gods. And the 81st Prince also had this advantage. Light Cloud Remnant Underworld. The light scattered like clouds, and the 80th Prince disappeared without a trace. Light appeared under his left foot, and space appeared under his right foot. When combined, it allowed him to reach the speed of 20 worlds. "Young man, you're still too inexperienced." Lin Ling stood on the ground and looked up at the sky. He was fearless. Seeing this, many people sneered. Lin Ling probably didn't know the power of the number 1 spatial user in Azure State. 9 Heavens Light God Technique, Light Break. Almost at the same time, a ray of light slashed down like lightning. Very quickly, other than the mid-stage martial immortal experts, no one else felt anything. That ray of light was like a line of life and death, slashing down on Lin Ling's head. However, a vicious aura appeared on Lin Ling's body, and a fierce light shone brightly. It was as if he had merged with the evil fire god. He moved and disappeared. The speed of 20 worlds appeared. That ray of light swept across the ground, and a bottomless ditch appeared in the ground. It was unknown how many roots of the divine tree were cut off. "Young man, you're not the only one who can reach the speed of 20 worlds." Lin Ling appeared on the other side with his hands behind his back. His calm appearance shocked everyone. Even the 81st Prince was the same. He felt that Lin Ling was like his master, restraining him in every way. One must know that the speed of 20 worlds was unparalleled in the mid-stage martial immortal realm. He thought that he was the only one in Azure State who had it, but Lin Ling also had it. 81st Prince, you're one of the 9 heavens of Azure State. However, in my opinion, you're only half a genius. Lin Ling said again. He thought of the past, when he competed with the geniuses of 9 states. Compared to them, the 81st Prince was like a grain of light. Nonsense. The 81st Prince was the youngest genius in Azure State. When had he ever been humiliated like this? Moreover, Lin Ling's words were too casual. He was looking down on him. Boom! His entire body exploded, causing the tree hole to be filled with resplendent light. Countless strong practitioners were blinded by the dazzling light. Only those outside the tree hole could see that the 81st Prince had transformed into countless doppelgangers and was charging towards Lin Ling at the speed of 20 worlds. With such strength, not to mention in Azure State, even in 9 states, he would be able to move freely without fear. If I don't show you how powerful I am, you won't know what it means to be an expert. Lin Ling looked around with his 10,000 elephant demonic eyes. The 81st Prince was only at the 3rd level of the martial immortal realm. Although his strength was very strong, as long as he was at the 3rd level of the martial immortal realm, Lin Ling was not afraid. Boom! The roar of the sea was heard, as if 10,000 seas were surging. However, there were flames that soared into the sky and surged. The sea and flames were originally opposites. However, at that moment, they appeared perfectly on Lin Ling's body. Facing the attack of the 81st Prince, he merged his 3 dantians and his world essence surged. Boom! He punched towards the south. Light exploded and darkness appeared. What? Even light can be destroyed. The experts outside the tree hole all shuddered. Lin Ling's method was very simple. It was just his fist. However, it was incomparably powerful. No one could understand why it was like this. Boom! Another punch and a ray of light was immediately torn apart. Boom! 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 Lin Ling destroyed the clones one after another. In terms of speed, he was not inferior to the 81st Prince. In terms of talent, he was not weak either. In terms of combat strength, his world essence was more powerful than the 81st Prince's. Chapter 29-29. No one dared to fight. 81st Prince, let me help you. Those below the middle martial immortal realm were not qualified to join the battle. Therefore, those who attacked were all middle martial immortal realm experts. Wind song time. It was an elegant man. He leaped high into the air and sang towards the sky. Hateful parting. A sorrowful melody filled the air, and the entire universe moved. This was actually 50% of the power of the universe, and it was terrifying. Moreover, the song was formless and colorless. It was impossible to guard against it. This was a kind of innate divine ability that combined the universe's power and soul power. Hehe, are you also here to die? Lin Ling raised his head and smiled lightly. Smile? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The experts who had attacked were all the strongest in the tree hole. This Lin Ling could still smile? Get lost. At this time, Lin Ling roared. It was like the roar of the king of the 4 beasts, the world-devouring beast. Behind him, a huge mouth appeared. Mixed with Lin Ling's powerful soul power, it attacked. Puff! The man who was singing sorrowfully spat out a mouthful of blood. His expression changed greatly. Lin Ling's soul power was actually so strong. He was simply a monster. His body was strong, his world essence was strong, and his soul was also strong. He was simply a perfect genius with no weak points. Since you like to sing sorrowful songs so much, you can make a sorrowful story. Lin Ling roared towards the sky. His soul power rippled and attacked the man's soul. If the man had kept his soul in his dantian, Lin Ling would not have been able to kill him. That was because Lin Ling had not cultivated a powerful soul power martial art. However, the man specialized in soul power. When his soul came out, it was very weak. Ka ka ka. As if struck by lightning, the graceful man froze in midair. His soul had collapsed. Xiao Sheng. Outside the tree hole, the left minister was boiling with anger. That man was an extraordinary existence in the left minister's residence, but now he was dead. Lin Ling, take this. Cauldron sealing masterpiece. There were less than 5 people who still dared to attack, and the sovereign marquis was one of them. He unleashed his ultimate technique, causing the Qingzhou cauldron to shatter. The bronze fragments danced in the air, then reformed again and charged at Lin Ling. The new cauldron of the Azure province actually carried the incense of the people of the myriad worlds. The entire tree hole was filled with the rich aroma of red sandalwood. Marquis of Sovereign Heaven, when you took Queen Xianji from me, you also want to know where the space-time steel is, right? Lin Ling said with his hands behind his back as he looked at the cauldron crashing down from the sky. This kind of calm boldness shocked everyone. Could it be that no one could make Lin Ling treat seriously? That's right. Let me tell you, Lin Ling. Even though Queen Xianji has escaped, I have already found her. I will get the space-time divine steel sooner or later. In the sky, the sovereign marquis long hair danced wildly. He was like a cauldron god, invulnerable to all evil. His words obviously wanted to affect Lin Ling's mentality. However, Lin Ling's next sentence affected his mentality instead. There's no need to go through so much trouble. The space-time divine steel is with me. Lin Ling said calmly. What? The sovereign marquis' expression changed drastically. For that treasure, he had put in a lot of effort to find Queen Xianji. Countless people had died. However, Lin Ling said that the space-time divine steel was with him? Pfft! The sovereign marquis was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. This meant that the space-time divine steel was with him. In the past, Lin Ling was not very strong. If he knew this secret, he could have taken it at any time. However, he did not know, so he missed it. Now, Lin Ling was fully fledged. Even if he knew, what could he do? Pfft! Pfft! The sovereign marquis spat out 3 mouthfuls of blood. He looked dispirited as if he had missed the most regrettable thing in his life. So powerful. You defeated the sovereign marquis with 1 sentence. On the Sakra's side, Lord Eight's pupils were trembling. Lin Ling was flying higher than the sovereign marquis now, and he was even more dazzling. Sovereign marquis, don't be fooled. He's lying to you. At this moment, Thunderclap Mother said anxiously. This made the sovereign marquis' eyes light up. This was possible because Lin Ling had encountered several life and death situations, but he had never used the space-time divine steel. This was illogical. You lied to me. The sovereign marquis roared angrily and activated the Qingzhou cauldron again to attack Lin Ling. Ha! However, Lin Ling smiled again. I never lie. Take the news that I failed to break through as an example. That's all just deceiving yourselves. When did I tell others that I failed to break through? Of course, I know you don't believe me, but look above your head. Hearing this, the sovereign marquis looked up, and his face turned pale again. Pfft! 3 mouthfuls of blood shot out like arrows. Because at the top of the tree hole, a huge black shadow rolled over. It was the space-time divine steel. The huge divine steel flickered with ancient runes, as if it was an item used by a deity to suppress thousands of worlds. At this moment, the huge divine steel was following closely behind the Qingzhou cauldron. Rumble. The moment it smashed down, the Qingzhou cauldron was instantly shattered. It couldn't even withstand a single blow. The divine cauldron personally refined by the Azure the Arch is also broken. Everyone was completely frightened by Lin Ling's ferocious strength. No one expected that Lin Ling had hidden his strength so deeply. At this moment, he had unleashed his full strength, and this full strength was even more terrifying than before. Rumble. After the spacetime divine steel broke the Qingzhou cauldron, it floated above the sovereign marquis head. The sovereign marquis trembled all over and sat on the ground with a plop, spitting out 3 mouthfuls of blood. Was this the treasure he had been dreaming of? Now, he could finally look at it up close. The spacetime divine steel was indeed very beautiful and powerful. Unfortunately, this treasure didn't belong to him. I won't kill you for now. In the future, I will visit you personally and ask for an old friend of yours. Lin Ling waved his hand lightly, and the spacetime divine steel shot towards him and disappeared into his body. The person he wanted was Queen Xianji. In the past, the sovereign marquis had taken Queen Xianji from him. Today, he wanted to see what the sovereign marquis could say and resist. Also, Lei Yin Crone, your granddaughter was killed by me. Do you want to take revenge? Lin Ling looked at Lei Yin Crone again, still as calm as ever. Lei Yin Crone's face was ferocious. She was so angry that her eyes were spitting fire, but there was nothing she could do. After the matter at the 8 Gods' heavenly palace is over, I will go to the Lei Yin mansion personally to look for you. Prepare some tea for me. Lin Ling smiled as if he was talking to a friend. However, all the magnates present knew that this kind of friendly tone was often the most terrifying threat. Plop. Lei Yin Crone sat on the ground helplessly. Lin Ling came to visit her personally. This was definitely not a good thing. Alright, now who still wants to snatch the Emperor's life essence? Come out. I, Lin Ling, will give you 3 moves. With his hands still behind his back, Lin Ling looked at the crowd. The tree hole was silent. No one dared to fight. Everyone looked at the young man with his hands behind his back as if they were looking at the arrival of the Azure Emperor. Defeating the 81st Crown Prince, killing the experts from the left minister's residence, and smashing the sovereign marquis' steel. A series of powerful moves had suppressed the crowd until they couldn't raise their heads. Since there is no one else, then this emperor's life essence is mine. Lin Ling lifted his feet and walked towards the flower bud at the top of the tree hole. Chapter 29-30. Awakening Dragon Palace. Outside the tree hole, the magnates' faces were solemn. They were helpless and could only watch as Lin Ling did whatever he wanted. This brat. The 3rd prince's face was solemn. He didn't expect Lin Ling to become so powerful after the trip to the 8 Gods' heavenly palace. He was about to reach the pinnacle of the Green State's pyramid. This is his full strength. Among the crowd, a muscular man was trembling. He was the great ape of Yi. Not long ago, he was sent flying by Lin Ling with a single punch. At that time, he said that he didn't use his full strength. But now, he realized that even if he used his full strength, he would still be suppressed by Lin Ling. And Lin Ling had already obtained the Emperor's Fate's essence. Sakura immediately said, "Second brother, use it." Lin Ling's Emperor's Fate was already very close to the Azure Thearka's Jade Seal. If he used the Emperor's Fate's essence, he might be able to obtain the Azure Thearka's Jade Seal. However, Lin Ling shook his head, "I am not interested in the Azure Thearka's throne." When such words came out, everyone's jaws dropped. They were so angry that their teeth were itching. The Emperor's Fate was the power that the Green State's cultivators yearned for the most. Lin Ling was so close to that power, yet he wasn't interested. Moreover, if he wasn't interested, why didn't he give it to others? Bastard! The 99th prince couldn't help but curse. The 3rd prince smiled. Lin Ling didn't want the treasure, but she wanted it. She planned to use other treasures to exchange with Lin Ling. Second brother, why? Sakura was puzzled. Because my goal is the 9 prefectures emperor. Lin Ling chuckled. His words silenced the crowd. They didn't expect Lin Ling's ambition to be so great. He didn't care about the Azure Thearcha's throne and had set his sights on the 9 Prefectures Emperor. The 9 Prefectures Emperor, this was a divine position that no one dared to think about. They wanted to say that Lin Ling was dreaming, but they felt that it wasn't convincing because they had all witnessed Lin Ling's strength. At this moment, the silver light of the flower bud dispersed completely, and at the same time, an ancient divine diagram floated down. The divine map was made of sheepskin and was extremely ancient. However, since it could be placed in the flower bud, it was obviously something that ancient martial artists valued greatly. Lin Ling took the sheepskin and opened it. He couldn't help but smile. Map of the Dragon Palace. As soon as these words were spoken, the expressions of everyone outside and inside the tree hole changed. Dragon Palace? Could the Dragon Palace of the 8 Gods' heavenly palace be the Dragon God Palace of the 8 Gods in the past? The Dragon God was a divine being that was above the ancestral dragon. In terms of life, it was even higher than the ancestral dragon, the universal dragon, the 9 continents dragon, and the myriad world dragon. At the same time, after the silver light of the flower bud poured out, the silver light outside the divine tree also gradually dispersed like mercury flowing down the ground. The magnates were allowed to enter, but none of them dared to act recklessly. Lin Ling, give me the map of Dragon Palace. The 76th prince was the first to speak. Now that the essence of the emperor's life was taken by the 3rd prince, they didn't want to fight for it anymore. However, the map of Dragon Palace was no small matter. Lin Ling was still looking at the map of Dragon Palace, and a familiar smile appeared on his face. This was because Li Xiaoyao had been looking for this Dragon Palace in his previous life. It was hidden in the 4th floor, but he couldn't find it in the end. This led him to go to the 5th floor. Give him 3 slaps and I'll tell you what this map is. Lin Ling was still looking at the map as he muttered to himself. As soon as these words were spoken, the magnates frowned and looked at the 76th prince with evil intentions. What are you guys trying to do? The 76th prince reacted with a furious expression because the 99th prince, the minister of the left, and other experts were staring at him. Weren't these people enemies with Lin Ling? 76th prince, I'm sorry. The 99th prince took a step forward and 3 crisp slaps landed on the 76th prince's face. The 76th prince caressed his face. He was so angry that he couldn't speak, but he didn't dare to provoke Lin Ling anymore. This is the resuscitating Dragon Palace, one of the 49 dragon gods under the 8 gods. Hearing the crisp sound of the slap, Lin Ling spoke slowly. Hearing this, everyone's breathing quickened. There were probably more treasures in this Dragon Palace. Inside is the desolate body's great Tao body, passed down from the universe to the era of the gods. There are also many 8th grade martial arts, many heavenly treasures, and the essence of the emperor's life. Of course, there are also precious dragon souls. Those who obtain the dragon souls will possess the bloodline of the dragon gods. Lin Ling spoke again. Every word he said made everyone's heart skip a beat. The existence of the desolate body could be traced back to the era of the gods. Thinking about it, Lin Ling's powerful talent was a 10th grade divine body, and he was able to suppress everyone with this talent. As for the desolate body, there were less than 10 people in Qingzhou who had the desolate body. And this was only an estimate. There were probably only 5 people. As for 8th grade martial arts, one could cultivate the power of the universe, which was even more powerful. It was a divine art that ordinary warriors could only dream of. There was also the essence of the emperor's life. Previously, just the essence of the emperor's life was enough for them to fight over it. What if there were multiple essences in the Dragon Palace? As for the dragon souls, there was no need to talk about them. They had only heard of it in legends. Even if they obtained the dragon souls, they wouldn't use them. All of these showed how precious the Dragon Palace was. Lin Ling, hand over the map. The 99th prince suppressed the excitement in his heart and said coldly. He. Lin Ling smiled calmly. Flames appeared in his palm and burned the map to ashes. Sorry, my hand got a little hot, so I burned the map. When Lin Ling's voice drifted out, all the experts were stunned. Their breathing quickened, and some of the older ancient martial artists were so angry that they couldn't breathe. You are courting death. The left prime minister couldn't help but roar. He no longer looked as gentle as before. Although the map was burned, I still remember it. So, if you want to find the resuscitating Dragon Palace, you have to hand over some treasures. Lin Ling ignored the left prime minister's anger and said with a smile. He looked like an unscrupulous merchant. The magnates gritted their teeth in anger. It turned out that Lin Ling had done it on purpose. He had destroyed the map in order to blackmail them. Lin Ling, you are making a deal with the King of Hell. The Prime Minister, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke. Threatening me? To put it bluntly, even if you are the King of Hell, I don't care. Lin Ling shrugged nonchalantly and said with a smile, Are you going to give up the Dragon Palace or hand over the treasures? I have 10,000 royal crystals here. Is that enough? Hearing this, the 99th prince said angrily. He had never expected that as the leader of the magnates and the son of Emperor Qing, he would one day have to lower his voice to Lin Ling. It's enough. It's enough. Lin Ling's smile became even more charming. A royal crystal was more precious than a divine crystal. 10,000 royal crystals was a huge sum of money. It was enough for him to break through his third dantian. Lin Ling also knew that although he was famous in Qingzhou, there were many people who were stronger than him. For example, Tian Ling, who was a middle-stage martial celestial, was not someone he could fight against. Chapter 29-31. I don't think you are a good person. I have a piece of divine tumor cloth. I got it from the 8 gods' heavenly palace. It is an ancient martial artist's robe. It has a large amount of ancient martial arts recorded in it. It can help you comprehend the power of the universe. Take it. The Prime Minister took out an ordinary cloth and threw it to Lin Ling reluctantly. My lord, this is a great treasure. The people from the Prime Minister's residence shouted. The Prime Minister did not get many treasures from the 8 gods' heavenly palace, but this divine tumor cloth was a treasure that all the magnates coveted. For this treasure, the Prime Minister's residence suffered a great loss. But now, Lin Ling got it. This meant that their efforts were in vain. Thank you. Lin Ling could see that the treasure was extraordinary. No need. The Prime Minister said politely. But in his heart, he was cursing. Lin Ling looked at the Prime Minister and said with a smile, Prime Minister, they gave me such precious treasures. You won't give me some trash, right? I have many treasures. Take your pick. The Prime Minister said indifferently. He took out a large amount of treasures. Wow, a supreme weapon. The aura of that hammer is very sharp. It must be a powerful supreme weapon. Tiansong bone ashes. Legend has it that the bone ashes of a person who cultivated the Tiansong Great Ring technique can help a martial artist reach the martial immortal realm in an instant. High rank 7 cultivation technique. That red cultivation technique is a fire attribute martial art. Everyone exclaimed. The Prime Minister was very low-key, but they did not expect him to have so many treasures. Lin Ling, Tiansong bone ashes are very good. If your friend has not reached the martial immortal realm, he can devour the bone ashes and step into the martial immortal realm in a year. Also, you are a fire attribute martial artist. That fire attribute martial art is very suitable for you. The Prime Minister looked at Lin Ling and said, but there are so many treasures. You can only choose one. Without a doubt, the treasures that the Prime Minister valued were all priceless. But he took the initiative to recommend them to Lin Ling. There must be something fishy about this. Lin Lingyun smiled faintly. The heavenly pine bone ashes were indeed very good. However, after the devourer became a martial immortal, they could only train in the heavenly pine great ring technique. This heavenly pine great ring technique was very ordinary and could even be called trash. It was completely useless to Lin Ling. Only those mortals who would never be able to reach the martial immortal realm in their entire lives would be tempted by this treasure. As for the fire elemental cultivation technique, Lin Ling also shook his head because he saw an even better treasure. I want this. Lin Ling stretched out his hand, which made the Prime Minister secretly smile. That was a 7th grade fire attribute cultivation method. Although it was precious, at least he would not feel heartache. However, Lin Ling's hand quickly changed. He suddenly held an ordinary stone in his hand. The Prime Minister's expression changed drastically as he shouted, "Lin Ling, that stupid rock is useless against you." He had scattered countless treasures, but who knew that Lin Ling would choose that treasure of all things? That treasure looked ordinary, but it was actually the most precious treasure among all the treasures. That was the essence of the World Mountain. According to legend, it was the essence of the World Mountain that was formed after a long period of time. Although it looked like a fist-sized stone, it actually suppressed countless mountains in the World Mountain. If such a treasure was used to refine weapons, it would definitely be an invincible existence. If it was used to assist one's cultivation, it would definitely increase one's cultivation speed by 3 times. It could be said that the Prime Minister's entire body was a treasure. I like to take people by surprise. I don't want good treasures. I like stupid rocks the most. Lin Ling kept the treasure with a smile. The Prime Minister's heart was bleeding. He did not expect Lin Ling's eyes to be so sharp. He had seen that treasure in the history of Qing province, so he had an impression of it. How could a young boy like Lin Ling be more knowledgeable than him? Although the others did not know what treasure Lin Ling had taken, they could see from the Prime Minister's expression that Lin Ling had taken a precious treasure. What a despicable guy. All the magnates cursed in their hearts. All right, 3 days later, I will bring all of you to the Awakening Dragon Palace. Lin Ling kept the essence of the World Mountain and turned to leave. The people of the imperial court followed him. Among them, the 3rd prince was undoubtedly in a good mood. She had fought with the magnates for many years and had always been on par with them. She never expected that Lin Ling would be able to suppress the founding elders of Qing province. "Huh, second brother, this is great." Sakura followed Lin Ling and kept laughing heartily. Meng Lu felt like he was dreaming. Lin Ling still failed to break through. He recalled the sympathy he had for Lin Ling on the 3rd level and couldn't help but smile bitterly. Such a ferocious Lin Ling still needed his help. This made him embarrassed to see Lin Ling. Last time, I had a feeling that if Lin Ling really succeeded in breaking through, he would definitely stir up a storm in Qing province. Now, it seems like that is indeed the case. Meng Lu said in his heart. The people of the imperial court were undoubtedly very happy. As for the magnates behind them, their expressions turned ugly. They knew that a fierce general had appeared in the imperial court and was the 3rd prince's right-hand man. This person was Lin Ling of the imperial court. "Lin Ling, why did you let them go to the Awakening Dragon Palace together?" The 3rd prince caught up to Lin Ling and asked in a dignified tone. He had the aura of the Azure Emperor. Lin Ling glanced at the 3rd prince and was unhappy. The 3rd prince kept putting on airs in front of him. Did he really think that he was the Azure Emperor? Moreover, even if he was the real Azure Emperor, Lin Ling wouldn't give him any face. One had to know that the battle earlier reminded Lin Ling of the days when Li Xiaoyao dominated the 9 province. He then thought of the people who died in the rainforest sacred land. His low-profile heart gradually became arrogant. Sometimes, the more low-profile a person was, the more trouble they would bring. Everyone would treat you as a pushover and bully you. Do you think that I can refuse? I can defeat the 3 magnates in the tree hole, but do you think that's possible outside the tree hole? Let me tell you, even if all the experts of the imperial court are here, the imperial court won't be able to stop the 3 magnates. Lin Ling said indifferently, as the leader of the imperial court, you should set your sights further. Don't let the imperial court suffer a heavy blow for some small benefits. His words were filled with reprimand, causing the 3rd prince to open his mouth wide. How dare you? Behind him, an old man immediately shouted angrily. This person was a prominent figure in the imperial court. He was a mid-stage martial immortal, so he couldn't stand Lin Ling reprimanding the 3rd prince. Who do you think you are? Lin Ling stopped in his tracks and looked at the old man. I was here when the imperial court was first established. Tell me, who do you think I am? The old man was clearly even more furious. I think you're nothing. Why didn't you speak up when you faced the 3 magnates? Who was the one who raised the prestige of the imperial court in the tree hole? Where are you? Lin Ling said solemnly. The old man was speechless. You're rebelling. He was a prominent figure, so he didn't like Lin Ling's arrogance at all. 3rd prince, look at who you brought. Other than taking advantage of his seniority, what else can he do? He's strong, but is he of any use? When he sees the magnates, he only hides behind you. When the imperial court needs someone to stand up, he doesn't even know where he's hiding. Sigh. Chapter 29-32. Water can carry a boat, but it can also capsize it. On the 3rd level, there are many people from the imperial court. They are weak, but they have the courage to become strong. They were captured by the 3 magnates, but they refused to surrender. They fought with the imperial court's aura. You are strong, but you don't dare to face the 3 magnates. They are weak, but they dare to. Can you compare to them? Lin Ling said again. Pooh. The elder was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. He pointed at Lin Ling, but he couldn't say anything. I agree with Lin Ling. If it wasn't for Lin Ling, we wouldn't have gotten the Emperor's life essence. The magnates would look down on us, and we wouldn't have a share in the awakening dragon palace. At this time, Lord 8th also spoke, supporting Lin Ling. Yes, my 2nd brother is right. Yes. Sakura also said the same. The others from the imperial court were silent. Although Lin Ling had only joined the imperial court for a short time, Lin Ling had created too much fame. They all secretly approved of Lin Ling. Lin Ling, you are right, but the heavens. The 3rd prince frowned and pleaded for the elder. You shut up too. Shut up. However, Lin Ling directly reprimanded her, causing her pupils to tremble. Lin Ling didn't give her any face at all. Water can carry a boat, but it can also capsize it. Think about it. Sometimes, only those who are strong are useful. Those who are useful are those who can be used at the crucial moment. If you let them down, you will find that no one in the imperial court can use them. Lin Ling looked coldly at the 3rd prince and strode forward. The people he was talking about were Lin Ping, and the others from the 3rd level. The 3rd prince was stunned. She was furious. She was from the Jiang family of the Tianzhou Great World, but she was being scolded. However, she couldn't refute it. Because Lin Ling's reputation in the imperial court had greatly increased. Gritting her teeth, she chased after Huang Xiaolong. Lin Ling, I admit that your words make sense, but why did you bring the magnates to the resuscitating dragon palace? Like I said, if the three magnates work together, our royal court will definitely be eliminated from the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Moreover, there are hidden experts among the three magnates. I'm afraid that the remaining experts from the Green Prefecture's 9 great heavens are among them. Lin Ling said without looking at her. There is also another reason, which is that the imperial dynasty won't be able to enter Wake Up Dragon Palace. I see. Although the third prince was annoyed that Lin Ling didn't give him face, he wasn't a little girl and knew that the bigger picture was more important. I know you don't like me, but let me remind you that you'd better not provoke me. Otherwise, you'll regret it. Also, you'd better listen to me because someone like you wasn't even qualified to be my maid in your previous life. Lin Ling glanced at the third prince again, but his tone was no longer as cold as before. He spoke in a casual tone. You. The third prince was so angry that he gritted his teeth, but Lin Ling had already strode forward. As for the people of the royal court, some were angry at Lin Ling's arrogance, while some agreed with Lin Ling's actions because the royal court needed a domineering ruler. As for Sakura and the others, they followed Lin Ling. After a long time, the experts of the royal court rested in a tree hole and waited for the resuscitating dragon palace to open. As for Lin Ling, he found a quiet tree hole and enjoyed this hard-won peace. At the same time, he began to tidy up his loot. He had to admit that he had benefited greatly from the 8 gods' heavenly palace. Other than the scabbard, the time-space divine steel, and little Kunlun, he had a few more trump cards. He took out the ancient martial artist's robe and began to comprehend it. The robe looked ordinary, but it was actually left behind by a martial artist from the era of the gods. It had accompanied the martial artist for his entire life and had memorized many martial arts. Holding the robe with both hands, Lin Ling's all-encompassing demonic eyes appeared. Instantly, he saw the process of an indomitable powerhouse rising from the weak to the strong. All kinds of martial arts and ultimate martial arts flowed through Lin Ling's eyes. Lin Ling's ultimate fire Dao had been greatly enhanced. His Dao domain had improved as well. At the same time, his fire-type universal force had been greatly enhanced as well, reaching 30% of his universal force. Even without using the demonic flame transformation, he was able to reach this level of power. As for the robe, it had turned into fragments and scattered with the wind. I broke through too quickly. Otherwise, my fire universal power would have reached 50%. Lin Ling shook his head regretfully. Then, his eyes lit up because he realized that someone was secretly watching him. It was the third prince. Seeing this, Lin Ling sneered. This third prince was too arrogant. Watching others cultivate was a great taboo in martial arts. However, Lin Ling did not hide anything. He used all the imperial crystals that he had extorted from the 99 princes to cultivate. This time, he wanted to break through to the martial immortal realm with his third Dantian. Last time, he had failed to break through with the help of the Black Forbidden Medicine. However, imperial crystals were safer than the Black Forbidden Medicine. Rumble. At the same time, his third Dantian crazily increased. Although it was not very talented, it had increased Lin Ling's battle prowess by 20%. Heavens, does this guy not have any bottlenecks in his cultivation? How is this possible? The third prince was indeed secretly watching Lin Ling. At this moment, he was shocked and his chest was violently jumping up and down. How could she know that Lin Ling had already reached a level that even she could only look up to? Thus, it was not difficult for him to break through quickly. After Lin Ling consumed most of the imperial crystals, his third Dantian had reached stage 1 martial immortal realm. The aura of an immortal filled the air. What a strange guy. One moment, he gives off the feeling that he's a martial immortal. The next moment, he gives off the feeling that he's a world king. The third prince shook his head again. He could not see through Lin Ling at all. Have you seen enough? However, at this moment, a voice rang in her ears, causing her to blush. It turned out that Lin Ling had already discovered her. The third prince was extremely embarrassed. There's no need to explain. It's not that I, Lin Ling, can't let others watch me cultivate. It's just that if I show them, they might not understand. Lin Ling had already appeared outside the tree hole. There was a huge leaf there, and the third prince was standing on the leaf. One had to admit that the third prince's clothes were whiter than snow. She was as ethereal as a fairy and as cold as the moon. She was indeed a rare beauty. Of course, Lin Ling's gaze was very normal. He was not affected at all. Lin Ling, why? Why did you break through to martial immortal realm again? The third prince quickly changed the topic. Lin Ling smiled when he heard that. He turned his gaze to the distance. At this moment, many experts from the royal clan had arrived. His elder brother, Indra, had also arrived. Indra had actually broken through to the 4th level of the martial immortal realm. The reason was that Lin Ling had given Sakura a lot of forbidden black medicine. The experts of the imperial court gathered on the huge leaf. They all looked at Lin Ling. They had also heard the third prince's words, so they were looking forward to Lin Ling's answer. There was no lack of old monsters among them. There were even sect leaders who had founded their own sects. To them, they had studied martial arts for their entire lives. However, they had never seen a freak like Lin Ling. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.